Good evening, everyone. We will start our commission meeting, and so I'm calling the meeting to order. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise and face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll have 1 moment of silence. And thank you.
Roll call. Commissioner Covina, Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Flowers, Commissioner Gutierrez, Commissioner Mason,
Here.
Commissioner Torres,
Here.
Commissioner Patel,
Yes.
Commissioner Velez,
Present.
Vice Chair Fisher,
Present.
Chair Munoz,
Present.
and Commissioner Diaz is arrived. We have quorum.
It does not appear that we have any public speakers today. No speaking cards? Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to the consent calendar. Everyone, please take a minute to review the minutes from our last meeting, which was on March 12th. Are there any questions or comments or corrections to the March 12th meeting minutes? Anyone? Hearing none, then we'll make the recommendation to approve. Yes.
I have a motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
Thank you. On to our new business, presentation of Sports Council.
Do a vote of the minutes. Roll call.
Sorry.
Sorry. I didn't do my minutes today. Commissioner Capelon?
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
Yes.
Commissioner Flowers? Commissioner Gutierrez? Commissioner Mason?
Here.
Commissioner Torres?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel?
Yes.
Commissioner Velez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Fisher?
Yes.
Chair Munoz?
Yes.
A vote of 8-0, it passes.
Yes.
Okay. On to new business.
Yeah.
Presentation from the Sports Council.
Before we do that, Chair Munoz, I would like to recommend that we swap the orders a little bit. I would like to see if we can allow for our IT manager, Will Trujillo, to move his item up to discuss the email policy for commissioners. That way he can go home to his family.
Oh, you'd love to stay here.
Thank you, Roxanne. Hello, everyone.
Thank you.
You've been provided a copy of the computer systems use. This is pretty much the policies that all staff members here at the city follow and abide by. It's a little outdated, and we are working on updating it, but you also have been provided a computer systems use policy receipt acknowledgement. And pretty much by signing this, you're agreeing that you've read the computer systems use And obviously, it's going to be updated, and you acknowledge that it'll be updated in the future, and you will be given a copy of the updated policy once approved and in place. With that being said, this is pretty much giving us permission to give you a city email address. So it would pretty much be your first initial, last name at westcovina.gov, so you can do business with. Pretty much all and everything to do with the city would be through this email account instead of using a Google account or a Yahoo account. Any business city related will have to go through this email account. And we also have a walkthrough for you that can be provided once your account information is given to you either by Deborah or some other personnel here. And it's pretty much just a walkthrough on how to log into your account from a website. It's an Office 365 email account, so it's pretty much like a Google account, but through Microsoft secured connection email. So pretty much we do have Barracuda, which is a security firewall system that we have here for the city that protects your email accounts from spam. It'll block spam emails that are recognized, so you probably won't see those emails that you get in your regular Yahoo account or Gmail account for sales or any shopping or anything like that. But then again, if you are missing an email that you are waiting for or that you know you're going to receive, and it flags it as a spam email, it could be something that we block, and we could easily unblock it. In the walkthrough, our information is on there for you to contact IT if anything like that happens, and then we can go ahead and release that email if you're waiting for something that you haven't received. And we can also help you out with logging onto the account, or if you forgot your password, we can help you on resetting passwords and so on and so forth. So if you do want that email account, please make sure to sign the acknowledgement, and then we'll go ahead and get an account assigned to you. And if you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer.
So I've been a commissioner for 3+ years. How come it's coming out now?
How y'all doing?
I just started here 2 years ago, so I'm not sure why it wasn't provided to you earlier. I don't know what the agreement was, if Roxanne can provide some more information on
I
it.
absolutely can. One of the directives from our city council is to take a look at the ways that we communicate, not only to the public, but to the members of our commission. And so this is one of the ways that we can enhance communication with all of you, as well as making sure that you're able to receive the required documents and status updates in a timely fashion from time to time. Unfortunately, when you do have outside accounts, things get bounced back. And so this is one of the ways that we can also make sure that you're getting all of the information that you need.
So the things that Deb sends us, for example, would go to this account?
Correct.
You'd quit using the accounts we've given you?
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just have another question. Are there any additional guidelines that might guide folks who may not be real familiar with using email in terms of how you would like the emails presented, especially when you're doing city business? Like if there was a template or something like that, just as a recommended guide?
What I believe that you're asking is if, as a member of the commission, if you were reaching out to someone for information, what I would ask is that you do contact Deb and myself, because we are the liaisons between, we are your liaison. And so we would provide you with assistance, letting you know what you can communicate, what is appropriate to reach out, and what may not be appropriate to
So we need to go
respond
through you to respond?
No, we're going to have a conversation about that, yes.
I
If you get an inquiry from the public, if someone reaches out to you, that's different. But one of the things that we're trying to avoid is sometimes we have people who are enthusiastic about their roles as a commissioner, and perhaps they may reach out for either solicitations or other sorts of information. And we just want to make sure that we're able to protect not only yourself, but the name of the city as well. So we don't overstep boundaries either way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That makes sense.
And just to comment on the use of it too, just in my work, I do public emails as well. So for our work as a commission, we can also always CC Roxanne. I've gotten in the practice of trying to CC her whenever I'm communicating through my email on anything city related. That's helpful because she won't necessarily need to respond or provide anything, but she's at least aware of the communication. And then also, when we get city-issued emails now, they're part of the public record, so everyone knows that anything you say or send is public record. So just be cognizant of that and make sure that everything you said is business appropriate. And if you're not sure, like Roxanne said, check with her. But that's the practice I've kind of followed for the last few years.
Thank you for that point. And in no way are we trying to audit what you're doing or edit your speech or prevent you from speaking. Again, we're just looking to make sure that we protect, your interest as a commissioner as well as the interests of the city. I know sometimes solicitations can be aggressive, and so we're here to really help you with that. Thank you.
I do have a question for Mr. Trujillo. So when will the policy be updated?
Well, we're working on it. Obviously, it has to go through legal and all that, so I don't have a time for that, but it will be updated.
Correct. We look forward to seeing the updated version.
What I can say as far as the updates are concerned, it's more of, if I may speak to it a little bit, what the updates are concerned is as we have matured as a city, as we have grown in the way that we communicate and the way that technology is structured, we now have a better understanding of what our capacities are as far as junk mail is concerned, as far as our limits are concerned. So some of the limits that were described in the current policy are actually expanded. So our memory is bigger now. What else? I'm trying to think. What are some of the other examples? It was more just updating those points, if I remember correctly.
And there's like some verbiage on here of printing out a copy of your email, which is not necessarily needed anymore. So that's just minor stuff like that.
Yeah. We're modernizing.
Modernizing, exactly.
Bring it to the new age.
That's a good word.
Yes.
Well, then one more comment on the modernizing part. So does that include Instagram and things of that nature? Or so I know the city has an Instagram account, and if any of the commissioners are out and about and they want maybe to share an event that they may have attended, can they just send a photo to any of you guys?
You can absolutely send one. You can absolutely send one to me. You can send it to Deb. Send it to both of us. If you send it to Deb, she'll provide it to me as well, and we'll take a look at it. When we have photos or you're sharing information, and I'm going to use like Touch a Truck as an example because I remember you were there, Commissioner Munoz. You happen to take pictures. We love when you guys share with us. Mm-hmm. So if you're able to share them, just keep it, go ahead and do that, but just keep in mind one of the things that we do is we really try to protect people's privacy. So our photographers know that when someone, if we take a picture, a candid shot of someone, if they let us know that they don't want their picture shown or distributed, so just kind of keep that in mind too.
If they're in public areas, you can take their picture without recourse, but if they're in a private area, you cannot take their pictures.
But it also goes to posting.
But if you get a request that they don't,
yeah,
then you probably should honor that.
Yes.
But any public place, you have a right to take pictures.
We want to honor, we want to honor our community members, and we want to make sure that, if they're sensitive about having pictures of themselves or their children on social media, that we don't cross that boundary with them.
Do you get any requests like that? Take my photo down?
We do for our classes. We don't get take my photo down. We have a photo release. The public events are a little bit different.
Commissioner George, you have a question?
Yeah, I have one more. Are we able to, once we get the emails issued, are we able to have those listed on the website similar to the council? When you go to their commission page, it'll have our names.
I can't hear you.
my throat's a little bad today. When we get the emails, I was asking if we could have them on the website. So
Yes,
now-
that's been brought up, and
Yeah.
it was agreed on that, yes, it would be possible to do
Okay.
that.
Perfect. Thanks.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I just want to ask for behalf of the commissioners if the email is accessed through a web portal or if it's able to be set up via PANAP or possibly like on an Outlook program.
It's just a web portal.
Perfect.
Is it the city's goal to get all of us a city email?
It is, but it's totally up to you if you want it or if you
It's
don't.
easier for you guys.
But we have made it available for everyone.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question, but I'm not sure if it's germane to the last conversation you had, but I see someone from the public spoke, so may I interject or not?
As a public speaker, yes, you can interject at this moment.
Well, I'm not sure I'm a public speaker, but I'm a resident of West
Okay.
Covina. Regarding the park master plan, I know that it was handled here in this committee when I last visited, back a year ago. And I was wondering, I see Lerma looking back and forth, probably not liking the question too much because it was your commitment to have one of many of these sort of meetings which you had back at Cortez over a year ago. So I'm kind of concerned as a resident because it does pertain to the park at Cameron, where we are in terms of that update. And you also promised it at Mr. Canto's community meeting at the donut shop. So I was hoping tonight to come on time to share that question with you. So I do appreciate you allowing me to. Thank you.
Sure. Would you like me to answer that question?
Yes.
Okay, it's not on the agenda, but I will go ahead and answer that question. So the city actually released an RFP for a Parks Master Plan, and so a Parks Master Plan is a planning document, and I actually shared, that same information with some of the commissioners that had asked the same question. We released a RFP. We have received proposals back for that RFP for the preparation of a Parks Master Plan document, which does include extensive community outreach. There are a few firms that have responded. Staff is in the process of reviewing those documents for compliance with the RFP. There will be interviews for firms, and any recommendation will be made to the city council as well. This was also discussed. I know Councilman Contos had a question about RFPs, either the last council meeting or the council meeting before, and this was also discussed at that time too.
For the sake of the meeting,
In the meeting, let me get
I'll
out.
reserve any comment for a later date. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
question. Back to the IT. Thank you so much. If there are no other comments or questions with regards to the upcoming revision to the policy and the emails, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
important.
you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Val.
Will you give these back?
You can. We can collect them at the end if you'd like.
Oh, okay. I don't know if they-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, JD.
Back to our agenda, the new business, so the presentation of Sports
Absolutely.
Council.
Absolutely. 2 commission meetings ago, it was at the request of the commission to bring back the presentation that was given to the city council at the October 17th, 2023 city council meeting, which is an overview of the sports council. We did bring it back at our last meeting as promised. However, we did not have a quorum, so we did not review the documents. I think most of you who are here do remember that happening. So we have placed it back on the agenda so so that we can give you an overview. Now, the purpose of this overview is to let you know really what's on the books when it comes to reserving the facilities throughout the city of West Covina, specifically the athletic facilities and the relationship that we have with the youth sports leagues. I'm going to ask if Deb can help me with advancing each slide. I'm going to be working off of my notes, and you guys can stop me or as you have questions, or we can wait till the end. So just a quick background, go ahead and advance to the next slide. The purpose of the Sports Council was really created to promote organized youth sports activity within the community of West Covina. And so the various leagues that make up the Sports Council each send a representative to sit at the table. Again, the purpose of it is really to make sure that we're not only promoting them, but to work collaboratively with our various leagues. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. So who are our member organizations? Junior All-American Bruins Football and Cheer, West Covina American Little League, West Covina Pony Baseball, West Covina National,
I don't have that slide.
I think it's somewhere down it's somewhere in the slides that I went through earlier. Might be in the wrong order.
Is it in the wrong order?
I know it's in the presentation because I looked it over earlier, and it lists all the participants.
Yeah.
I don't recall what the page was.
We can go with the page, that's fine. You want to see it? No. Okay. That's okay.
I want to say it was somewhere towards the end.
Is this the version?
It's double-sided.
That we'll put up? Is this the version that we'll put up? That's the one I need.
That's the one where I don't know where that is.
These pages before
Yeah,
the,
that's the flash drive I
Oh.
gave him.
you did the staff report.
Well, I didn't see him.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah, that's it.
Hold on just a minute.
Change it.
We're gonna get you the right order.
Does it say open?
Well, that's the order that we all have.
We can go with that. That's fine, Deb. Your member leagues include the Junior All-American Bruins Football and Cheer, West Covina American Little League, West Covina Pony Baseball, West Covina National Little League, Pacific Coast Little League, West Covina Youth Soccer, West Covina Girls Softball, and Duke's Baseball is recognized by the Sports Council. However, there is a different relationship that the city has that is outside of these guidelines here. The City Council has a right to enter into agreements separately with groups, and so there is a agreement, a long-standing agreement that the city has had with Duke's Baseball for the use of Mavericks Field. So this particular conversation that we're having today is really going to be covering the other athletic facilities and really who has what facility. Good. So this next slide here gives some more background information. It talks about the resolution that puts the documents, or excuse me, that puts the Sports Council into place. And it was done through a resolution that was adopted in 1957, which is Resolution 1241. Again, it really was saying that council is establishing a relationship that's going to help promote youth sports throughout the city. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. The Sports Council was also recognized as a policy-making group through this resolution. It also talks about the various roles that members of the Sports Council plays. It talks about acting as a liaison between the council and the Parks and Recreation Commission, which is now Community Senior Services Commission. It talks about presenting league's problems to the commission, and it also discusses to assist the council in the work with the school districts. So because we have only a certain number of fields, we also recognize that our partners, such as the school district, that we can work with them in order to really allow for more players to really maximize play opportunity with our leagues. And so again, this resolution articulates what that relationship is. Next slide. The West Covina Sports Council bylaw. So the council is actually governed by a set of laws. The bylaws have been amended several times over the last 2 decades, and the current version that we are operating on was amended on February 26th, 2013. So you're looking at 11 years. It's been 11 years since they have been amended. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. The purpose of the bylaws is to dictate the following processes of the Sports Council. It talks about, again, identifying the purpose, membership, meetings, officers, election of officers, business, and then how we go about doing amendments. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Again, the purpose is to promote the organized youth sports activity within the community of West Covina, to receive, coordinate, and make recommendations to the community services regarding all requests for the allocation of public facilities, act as a coordinating and liaison agency between the members and the Community Services Department of the City of West Covina, and maintain the credibility and prestige of youth sports activity and the organization sponsoring sports activities in the community of West Covina. We get into the key points, a little bit more of the nitty-gritty of membership into the Sports Council. The membership of the Sports Council, again, is going to consist of one voting representative from each organization selected of their executive governing body, and we do ask for them to choose 2 alternates. So 1 person at the table, 2 people who can fill in if that individual is not available. New non-sport organizations desiring membership in the Sports Council can apply in writing 1 month prior to the membership vote and must comply with Article 1, Section 2(9) of the West Covina Sports Council bylaws. And then, of course, a quorum comprised of 51% of Sports Council membership is required to conduct such business, which is why having the 2 alternates is so important. And then all Sports Council organizations must comply with requirements within the City of West Covina agreement for use of athletic facilities and fill allocation process is stated in the bylaws. We're going to talk about that some more as we go through this. So it's not just the bylaws that we're looking at. We're also taking that in tandem with the what we call the City of West Covina agreement for use of athletic facilities. And so that tells us how we're going to allocate the fields. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. Meetings occur. Number 1, an annual meeting shall be held in November of each year. The election of officers for the forthcoming calendar year shall be held at that time. Meetings are to be held year-round on the 4th Tuesday of the month unless declared dark. Any organization not attending a scheduled Sports Council meeting will be subject to penalties. And the community services designee shall monitor the membership attendance and report to the Sports Council chairman. And Sports Council organizations will meet when requested with the community services designee. Time and date of meeting will be mutually determined. Officers. The officers of the Sports Council are going to consist of the following positions: a chairperson, a first vice chairperson, and then the community services designee, which will act as a secretary, and that's for reporting purposes. That's the next slide. Officers are elected for a period of 1 year, as discussed during that November meeting, and they take or assume their roles in January. In the event of a vacancy, it shall be filled by the majority vote of the Sports Council. Go ahead and next to the next slide. Business. All requests by member organizations shall be submitted to the Sports Council in duplicate One copy will be retained by the Sports Council Secretary as a file copy, and the original shall be forwarded to the person or agencies concerned with the Sports Council recommendations included in the letter. All requests must be forwarded with concurring recommendations. So from time to time, recommendations are made. This dictates the manner in which those recommendations are communicated. Amendments, yes.
The chairperson, the head chairperson, don't they usually come here once a year, but they haven't been here in a while?
We're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay. All of a sudden, I had a memory flash. Okay.
We're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
So right now what we're going through is the presentation that was given to the city council members. And then when we're done going through this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you the directives that council has given us and where we stand currently.
Oh, okay, good.
But yes, you're correct. But good memory. I'm impressed. That was very good. Amendments can be made to the bylaws. They may be amended by 3/4 votes of the organization in attendance at 2 consecutive meetings. As you can imagine, we have a lot of good people in this community who volunteered their time and their talent to participate. A lot of hands that help make these organizations successful. Sometimes when you have volunteers, they have family commitments and other obligations too. And so that's, again, we really emphasize having the 2 alternates. And then when amendments are made, that's why we say that they need to be in attendance at 2 consecutive meetings, because sometimes we have some difficulties with getting our organizations to attend. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. It is through the city council, and when working with the sports council, it is the intent to support our youth sports leagues, to make sure that play is accessible for our community, for our residents. And so there are fee waivers that we grant to our youth sports leagues. According to the city's fee schedule, sports council leagues are provided use of city athletic facilities at no charge in exchange for in-kind maintenance services of city facilities. And one of the things that we noted is that degree fluctuates depending on the league and their capabilities. And so this is going to be a point that I'm going to be discussing with you later as a follow-up from the city council. Number 2, to be eligible for use of city facilities, sports council leagues are required to maintain at least 65% West Covina residency on their season roster and have 12 teams or 132 players. This qualifying criteria was approved by the city council on November 16, 2010, and then affirmed again on October 2nd, 2012. By supporting sports council leagues again with fee facility use, the city helps to ensure that children have recreational skill building and competitive opportunities to engage in sports. So it is a way in which the city council can be supportive by not charging our sports leagues, our youth sports leagues that comply with the residency requirements. And there are a few other requirements too. Nonprofit status, having bylaws, turning in rosters, turning in master calendars. It's a give and take. We're going to give you this fee waiver. We're asking you to comply with these guidelines, and then we're also asking for in-kind maintenance. Again, the degree varies, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Go ahead and see the next slide. Oh, you're already there. Facility allocation and use procedures. So it is a long title. So I'm just going to refer to it as the facility allocation use procedures if you guys are comfortable with that, if the commission's comfortable with that. Yes? Okay, thank you. So this allows us the allocation of all available fields within the city's ownership in a structured manner. This is how we go about assigning, allocating fields for the various leagues dependent on season. according to the facility allocation and use procedure, facility use permits are approved on the following basis of priority. All City of West Covina sponsored or co-partnered activities. So for example, what that means is the Easter egg hunt at Cortez. We know that that is a city event that happens once a year. We put it on the schedule. The leagues know that that takes priority because that's a city event that's articulated in the allocation procedures, and we communicate that with the leagues. Number 2, all member of City of West Covina Sports Council in good standing. That's where the documentation comes into play. That's where the residency requirements come into play as well. And then other, unless directed otherwise by the city manager. So we do allow for the city manager to have the opportunity to interject when it's necessary. Youth leagues and their facility assignments are prioritized as follows. Full compliance in season organization, full compliance non-in-season organizations, and then residency percentage based on formula. So what does that mean? The best example that I can use for that would be Cortez Park. Okay, Cortez Park, we have Bruins who are out there on the football field, the cheerleaders who utilize, and the younger players who utilize some of the little league fields during the fall season. Football is in season in the fall, and so they would take priority. When we look at the West Covina American, who is the little league that is out on those fields, their priority season is spring. So let's say, for example, football wanted to have a spring flag football league, for example, right? And they wanted to utilize the little league fields if they have cheerleaders or run scrimmages, whatever they needed to practices, warm-ups, what have you. Well, the organization that would take priority would be Little League because it's spring, they're in season. On the flip side of that, when it comes to the fall season, football takes priority. So fall ball for baseball would not be prioritized because they're not in their primary season. So that's the best example that I can give of that happening in real time. Residency percentage based on formula, I'm going to tell you we don't get to that level. Pretty much we stick with the in-season, in full compliance, or non-in-season, in full compliance organizations. Go ahead.
Quick question.
Yes.
So is Cortez the only park that we have that issue where it's shared?
We have, the other place where it would have an issue too from time to time would be Shadow Oak. Bruins football also uses Shadow Oak. Some of the other leagues may use that to practice as well. But again, we would look at what season or what league is in season. We recently started incorporating Shadow Oak as well as Friendship Park. Friendship Park, the leagues don't tend to play there as much unless it's absolutely necessary. That one seems to go more towards your facility reservations, out of town teams that pay for that use from time to time, which they're allowed to. But we do give that first priority to the sports council leagues, and if they don't accept it, then we do open it up. Go next to the next slide. So this is a visual, and you also have it in your packet, of the seasons, fall versus spring, how we identify those based on the months and the activities. And what I mean by activities, tryouts, registration dates, opening, closing, all-stars, all of that is outlined for you in this table. This is how we do it. So we talked about what is needed. This is how we do it. The facility allocation and use procedure requires each league to submit a facility application from September 1st through November 30th for spring field use. So that is our application period. If there is a league that wants to play in the spring, then that is when we begin accepting applications for the spring period. And we require the applications irregardless if they were there last year or not, because things can change. Board members can change, contact information can change, dates can change. So it's better that we have it in writing instead of operating on assumptions. It also serves as a checks and balance because it allows us to, or it doesn't allow us, but it ensures, it's another way for us to make sure that we're collecting all of the required documents, the insurance, the master calendar, all of the information that ensures that we are scheduling properly, that we're protecting the city's interests as well as safeguarding our residents. March 1st through May 31st is the application period for fall use. So I'm going to use again the example of Little League and football because we just discussed them. So for spring season, you're going to have all of your little leagues. Your girls softball, they're going to be applying or submitting their applications beginning September 1st to November 30th with their required documentations for that spring use. And then football, being a predominantly a fall sport, their application period is March 1st through May 31st. We do ask that they turn in their application sooner rather than later, so we're not, we have more time to let them know what other documents still might be needed, or if they need assistance with gathering information, we can provide that. But we also understand that from time to time, people get busy, and so maybe they're pushing it a little bit closer to the deadline. Leagues missing these deadlines have access to any remaining fields on an as available basis only. So really try to stick to those periods. So here's what happens. Once their applications are turned in, city staff reviews the allocations and allocates those fields equitably. And we not only are reviewing applications, but we're also reviewing the required documentation. Some documents we do understand can't be turned in right away. One would be their master calendar, right? Their season hasn't started yet. So there are specific dates that we request those documents to be turned in by. Should those documents not be turned in, we do assess a fine. The fines vary from $25 to $100, $200, just depending on what the document is and how long it's been outstanding. So these are the documents as stated in the existing bylaws that are required in addition to the application. We're asking for a board of directors rosters. We're asking for a master calendar of events. We're asking for league rosters. We're asking for league schedules of play. We're asking for a copy of league bylaws. We're asking for the AB 2404 information sheet. And this is another one that we're going to highlight and discuss a little bit later. We're asking for the proof of nonprofit status. We're asking for a copy of their liability insurance. And then we're also asking for a $500 deposit with their application. Go ahead and advance to the next
But it
slide.
says it will be refunded in November.
Correct.
What does that do? Does it hold something or?
Well, the deposit, it holds something, but it's also if there's any damage to the facility, then we're gonna go there first.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, of the groups we have now, how many meet this 100%?
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So again, I want to remind you that this presentation took place in October of 2023. So we're going over what was discussed at that time. So this slide talks about an allocation meeting that was held in January of 2023. I want you to know that we also held an allocation meeting in January of 2024 as well. And the purpose of this allocation meeting is to assign those fields to work out any scheduling conflicts that may come up with the leagues that are applying to use these fields. What has happened is some of our leagues are really growing. Some of our leagues are getting more participants. And on the flip side of that, there are some leagues that might be struggling and maybe they're not having the same number of participants. So these allocation meetings are essential because it helps us to maximize the fields as appropriate. Perhaps the league doesn't need what they needed in the past, or perhaps they need more than what they needed before. So we really try to encourage that spirit of cooperation and communication amongst the leagues. So before we got into some of the directives that City Council has given us, these were our immediate next steps. We talked about to redesign the documents into a user-friendly guide for athletic facilities. Talked about posting the information on the city's website. We talked about require full compliance of all leagues in order to obtain a fee waiver and institute penalties for missed deadlines. And I'm going to start there. I will tell you that a lot of the leagues were not providing the required documents. I am a believer that we need to over-communicate that with our leagues, simply because you can't have too much communication, but not only that, the board members change, your volunteers change, and sometimes this information isn't passed down. The other reason is, staff did not enforce some of these policies, for better or for worse, and that's the truth. And so this recommendation that we're making to council is, before we look at revamping bylaws, before we look at redesigning any of this, let's take a look at what we have on the books, because the required documentations, what we have on the books, isn't a bad place to start. And we don't know what is going to work and what is not going to work until we actually implement it. So in October, all of the leagues were sent a letter. And this letter let them know, reminded them of what these requirements were, when they needed to turn in their materials. We provided them with the master calendar of dates, what these penalties were that were associated with not turning in the required documents. Some of the leagues, because sometimes it's hard to get some of this information, especially when it comes to finding where the bylaws are or their proof of nonprofit status. Some of them needed a little bit more time, in which, because we were really enforcing it this time, moving forward, we helped them along in that process. We provided them, each league, with a status update of where they were in November of 2023, or actually in, November 2023. We provided them another status update in January of 2024. We provided them an additional status update in February of 2024. And then unfortunately, there are some leagues that did not turn in some of their documents, and they've received invoices for their penalties. And when I talk about status updates, what I mean by that is we told each league what their particular league was missing, what the penalties were, and what their future penalties would be if those documents turned in by a certain date.
If from year over year you have the bylaws, do you require them to resubmit every year?
We're going to require, yes we are, because rosters can change, residency can change, master calendars can change.
But bylaws don't
Board
change.
of directors.
Usually, right?
No, and we'll keep the bylaws, but we still need them to turn in the other required documents. Yes.
My question was the bylaws,
Yeah.
period.
What is the penalty?
They don't.
It depends on what the document is. I don't have that in front of me. All I could say is that the penalties range from $25 from not turning in a particular document. They could go up to $200.
So that means money-wise.
Correct.
Okay.
So what happens is if we don't prevent them from playing, okay? We don't prevent anyone from playing. What we're saying is we're not gonna give you that fee waiver unless you comply. That's what we're saying.
So who is the point of contact at the city? Who does that? Is there one point person working on this, or?
So
is it
right,
just-
go ahead.
Or does it fall on whoever's available?
So how
Or
we
first available?
So what we've been doing with the required documents is that they're submitting those to Stephanie Gonzalez at Cameron Community Center. The sports leagues are familiar with who Stephanie is. She takes the documents, she takes a look at them, she goes through them for compliance. She and I meet to discuss it. I
just want to know if there's one point of contact.
Yes.
That makes it easier.
Yes.
Than just sending it to a email,
Yes.
info email, okay.
So, excuse me, Stephanie Gonzalez is a staff member there?
Yes. Yes.
And is she the official liaison for the city, or is it
No,
changed?
I am the liaison for the city. Mike Cressup will sit in on the meetings too from a maintenance standpoint, but as far as collecting the documents, she's the one that collects the documents. She attends the meetings as well, with Sports Council as well. But yeah, she's the one that keeps those documents for us, reviews them for compliance.
So she's like your eyes and ears, and then.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have any idea which of these documents has been problematic for them to turn in out of the 9?
I would say sporadic, probably.
It is sporadic.
And have we kind of looked at how we can help them there? Like, are all these things necessarily required? Is there something?
So let's go back to that slide. Can you go back to the one? One of the ones that's is in the process of review is the AB 2404 information sheet. There are some, and I'm just being frank, there are some sensitivities in the ways that the state or family or individuals view gender. And so we're taking a look at what that information sheet looks like now and what it needs to be in the future.
But is that a requirement by the state or by us? Or?
It's a requirement of bylaws, the AB 2404. So what that's asking for is equal play to girls.
So I think that's where I'm confused, because I guess all of these are contingent on the existence of the sports council, not necessarily for them to use the field.
It is contingent on the existence of a fee waiver, not to use the field.
Oh, okay, fee waiver.
To the fee waiver only. We do not bar anyone from using the fields, but we do look at, if you're getting a fee waiver, council's expectation is that you have a certain number of residents and that you're a nonprofit organization, that you're meeting certain requirements, that you're a league. So that's why the board of directors, master calendars, all of that is what we're asking for.
So the AB 2404 is, like you said, but it doesn't, and tell me, it doesn't look like they're forced to have girls, they have to welcome girls.
Correct. Correct.
The only time they wouldn't, because they know girls are better than boys. Oh, kidding. Kidding, guys.
And so then there's a separate list of requirements for parties or organizations that want to lease the fields or rent the fields.
If you're
and are looking for fee waivers.
If you're not looking for a fee waiver, let's say like you're a travel team and you're gonna rent, Friendship Park, okay? You're going to fill out an application, you're gonna pay for the fees, you're gonna pay for the deposit, you're gonna provide us with the insurance. And you're gonna give us your dates that you wanna use it. That's what you're gonna do, and you're gonna pay for it outright. If you're asking for the fee waiver and you're a member of the Sports Council, this is what we require.
Okay.
Again, we're not saying, if you can't provide this, that you're barred from using the field. That's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying, in order for us to grant you a fee waiver, this is what we're asking.
Okay, so the facility allocation list here is based on requesting a fee waiver. So if I
Correct.
came in and wanted my badminton team to have a competition there and I was willing to pay privately, I only have to meet some of this.
You would meet the regular facility reservations,
Okay.
and
Which isn't this.
which is not this.
Right, okay.
Which is not this.
Okay.
Because you're not asking for a fee waiver.
Okay.
And so, what I'm trying to figure out, I'm just trying to figure out what the sports council's, I guess what the advantage of having that sports council would be. So like if I were to come in as a nonprofit, not part of the sports council, and I still wanted to get a fee waiver, I would go through this process, but they would take priority over me.
They would take priority.
But I would still have to go through this process to get the fee waiver.
We allow for nonprofit organizations to receive fee waivers for other uses. Like we've had nonprofit organizations reserve the senior center. There's a process for a fee waiver for that. But because these leagues are given priority, because the number of games and the number of players in some of our leagues are so large, it's very limited that we're going to have availability for outside reservations. And that's part of the reason why we ask them, what is your master calendar? Because if they're not using it, we want to be able to provide, the community with the opportunity of those spaces. So it becomes problematic when the calendar isn't provided. It's not just because we need to know who's out there, but it's also to allow for the community to use it who may not be, playing in that particular sport.
So the main tool of the sports council is to get that priority for those fields and have that process.
And cooperation between the leagues, because
Right.
again, from time to time, you're gonna have overlap, or you're gonna have where one league may not need to use their facilities as often as they had to in the past, and maybe we can have some cooperation with our other leagues so that they can provide that service. One of the things that's very encouraging in this community in one way is that you have leagues who have a lot of pride and they take ownership, and that's a very positive thing. But sometimes in taking on that pride and that ownership, sometimes there's an assumption that this is this is ours, but it's ours collectively, and we absolutely want to honor the hard work and the effort that their volunteers put into it, but we also want to know when they're out there, so when they're not out there, we can provide that space for the community.
Yeah, it's almost like a catch-22 where like they want to fill up the whole calendar if possible, just to make sure they cover their field, right? So I get you.
Well, since Dukes is a travel team and for profit, I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
Okay.
You don't have
Do
to
they
apologize.
get charged more, I hope, for using our fields?
There is a separate use agreement that
Oh,
the
okay.
city entered into with the Dukes that stipulates the use, that stipulates their monetary
That's fine, I just was wondering,
Yeah.
because...
contribution.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
a
the word
good
I'm looking for. They're and that's in an agreement.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
think it was years ago, but I might have peeked at that point, an old version of that maybe. But I think there's something in there as well that says if the city needs it, for whatever reason, they have the ability to use it, just with advance notice and planning, and I think there's that condition in there.
We really want to encourage cooperation,
Oh, yeah.
right? Communication and cooperation and access to our facilities, and it giving not only our sports leagues the opportunity to play, but the community at large the opportunity to
Right.
play and use. And it's a balance.
Yeah.
It is a balance. I want to go to another point that the council had requested us to take a look at. But we talked about in-kind maintenance, and there was a note that we put in the presentation that varies from league to league, to facility to facility. So one of the things, or one of the directives that the council had requested of us, is to define what that in-kind maintenance looks like. So this is how we started it. We took a look at first the Little League fields, and we developed some standards. And at our meeting that we had with them back in November, we shared with them what those standards looked like. And at first there was a little bit of hesitancy, but when they looked at the standards, some of them are like, well, we already do this. And you're right, you do already do it. And we want everyone to do it. So we're not looking at it to be a burden, but we want to memorialize what the leagues are doing. There's another point in the bylaws and the bylaws regarding facility use, is that every year the sports council leagues do an annual report. This was new information to a lot of them because, again, you have volunteers, boards change. Sometimes this information isn't passed down. And so we're really trying to encourage them to put this annual report together for their leagues, because that helps to tell their story. That's telling, what they put into it, telling us about, all the fantastic programs and activities they're providing through their organization, how many people are, how many families and youths are being served. And it's really, again, just telling their story and explaining why this fee waiver, is so valuable, because there is value to it. So again, it's just to really enhance that communication. And I know, Gail, you brought up, they're supposed to come once a year. Well, it goes back to really enforcing and reteaching and teaching the new members what this document, the bylaws and the allocation procedures, what it actually entails. So we're really using this year, and the clock started in October 2023, so we're really using a year to reevaluate and to assess, does this work? How does it work? And what recommendations are we going to make to the city council, as well as to the sports council groups moving forward? I know some of the leagues at first may have felt a little bit, and this sounds like a harsh word, but I'm using it because I heard it from them, that they were being attacked. They're not being attacked. We're trying to educate and enforce what's on the books, but we're trying to do it in a cooperative fashion.
I'm just gonna have a protocol.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Make everything cohesive and have a protocol.
Exactly.
And if we were to make a recommendation to the city council, would having somebody be exclusively assigned to the West Covina sports leagues and to help usher through a lot of this paperwork, would that be something that we could recommend? Creating some sort of new position? So, for example, right now you're the primary liaison, which might be a little bit too much for you because you're handling all these other things. Or we could have like a part-time staff member be 100% full-time or part-time dedicated to the leagues, and that would be the person that the leagues will communicate with constantly and help them put this paperwork. So essentially like a full-time West Covina League liaison. That's all they do.
Before I'm going to answer this question, I'm going to answer that question, and it's going to be a little bit of a long answer. And if I need to go back to it, I will. So, as you may or may not be aware, the city council approved a reorg. So we separated maintenance. There's a public services department that was made up of maintenance, public works division, and then the community services division. Through council's actions, they separated into two departments. Each department, community services, so that's like Parks and Rec, and then the maintenance, public works has a deputy director. And so we've just finished a recruitment process, and we actually have an individual who is going through backgrounds right now for that deputy director of community services position. When that person starts, you know, one of the things that they are going to be taking a look at, one of their duties is this. That person will likely assign someone that role. So I really want to take a look, give that person the opportunity to put their input. So it's not exactly answering that question, but that's how we're approaching it for the time being.
Right, that makes sense. And is one of the goals then to revise the bylaws once more?
We do anticipate revisions. Again, we're taking this entire year, so from October to October, to evaluate it based on the feedback that we received from the leagues, as well as the feedback that staff gives us through the actual implementation of the bylaws and the facility allocation procedures.
Yeah, because I would recommend one of those revisions to look at this list and see what we can eliminate.
And that's definitely on there.
Because it makes it a lot easier for the leagues. And I've volunteered in 2 of the leagues, soccer and Little League, and the amount of work these people do is...
It's tremendous.
It's crazy. So
yeah, it's tremendous.
It's one less thing for them to have to worry about, if possible, if we can make it happen. Because that was the board of directors roster. I'm not sure if that's like some sort of legal requirement, or if it could just be switched to a contact person for the league, like the president, or maybe 2 people. Things like that, to try to make it a lot easier for them to submit these documents. League rosters, I'm not sure what that looks like, but I know that fluctuates, that's changing constantly, so
we want the league rosters because of the residency requirement.
Well, and I think we touched on the resident requirement before in one of the past meetings. I'm not sure if that's ever been checked at any time.
They're checking.
Okay.
Yeah, they're checking, yeah, no, staff is checking. Like
So
I said,
that's based on the address.
that's based on the address, and we have been, and I want to be transparent. We have been up front, and I want to be up front. We're not knocking on people's doors. Yeah, staff is.
So how do we verify
Yeah.
that address? Yeah. I can have them all use my address unless you see duplicates.
And that's part of that feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're basing it on what's on the books now, and then
So
providing that feedback.
we don't take parents' IDs or anything like that?
That would be up to the league.
The league.
We take the documents.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the league probably doesn't do that because they want all the individuals they can get.
There's a couple methods, possibly. There's a couple methods that they can affirm that they have or have not done something. That would be a recommendation for revamping. Go ahead.
You know, I don't care if they live in the city or not really. We get them off the streets when they're playing ball. It's just, you know, I don't care if they call them ballpark or Lockwood, as long as our kids are not are unable to play, I guess is what I want to say. It doesn't matter where they live as long as everyone gets to play. To me, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think location has a lot to do with it as well, because the 2 leagues I coached at and helped with were West Covina National and then the soccer league. And I coached, and I think, I would say 90% of my kids were not from West Covina. Mostly Baldwin Park, and then mostly Covina, just because of the location. They're just way north, so we have very few participants from the south end of town. It's just real far for them. So yeah, I that might be one thing we can look at, the percentage, and see how we.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I agree with both commissioners' comments on that, but with regards to having the providing nonprofit status, I think you might have to expand it to say they should be in good standing. If they're in good standing, then there's a reasonable assurance that other requirements have been met, such as, one of the things I think for nonprofit status to remain in good standing is that you provide an updated list of your board of directors.
Some of it's
However
inherent.
that comes about.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Some of it is inherent. No, that
Right.
makes sense, and that
You
touches
can't have one
to
without the other.
to Commissioner Torres's point.
Exactly. And those are actually very important because that your leadership. And if you have a good, solid board, then the rest should be relatively easy. And then that person or the board could then ask for assistance from the city if they need technical assistance or they're out of compliance.
Yeah, and I think assistance is key from the city,
For,
just because having been involved, it's extremely hard to get people to take roles like president, vice president in those leagues.
it
When you
is.
mention those names, those words, like they scatter like ants, all the volunteers, nobody wants to take on that amount of responsibility.
And I agree with you, and my heart goes out to them because it's a job.
Yeah.
It is an unpaid, it's volunteer, but it's a job. It's a job to do that. And what we're really trying in community services, what we're telling the staff is it's an extension of our reach, right? These organizations are providing these programs. It's an extension of the city's reach. And so we want to help them comply. So that's why when we send them the status updates or we have conversations with them, we're not doing it out of you're so bad, no, this is what the reality is, and we want to get you to where you need to be to comply.
How much in line is this, I'm sorry, is this with our surrounding cities, Lafayette, Covina, Baldwin Park? Do you know how?
I do.
different
I will
criteria
tell
is?
you that they're all asking for proof of nonprofit status in good standing. I will tell you that they're all asking for the league rosters. Fluctuates is going to be your percentage. That's what's going to fluctuate. Of residency versus non-residency. Most cities do fee waivers for their youth sports leagues because they recognize that, again, it's an extension of the reach. They're providing services and programs to the community, and it's a partnership.
Debbie had a question.
No, I didn't have I was just gonna make a statement, is that years ago when I was, on the sports committee, it was up to the board of the league to submit who the players were and from address and everything. And it was a percentage, we had a percentage, I'm just quoting a number. Say for instance, if we were requiring for the city to furnish like 85% of the players from the city, then the remaining would be from the outsiders.
Right.
And that's the way it used to be before. I don't know about now.
I think that's changed.
Yeah.
I think once the protocol is in place, give it a couple of years or whatever, then it'll just be like when you're applying for a FAFSA or something, right?
Right.
You just upload all your data, but you have to do it every year.
Well, that's
The
what you
same
need
data,
the rules.
right? Every year. So I think once they get into the habit of knowing what they have to submit,
Every year.
then you have a file and you just say, okay, we'll just update it.
Yep.
It shouldn't be an issue.
You're absolutely
You want
right.
it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, and that's what we're working towards. We're working with the leagues to gain
I think
that
the
compliance.
problem is that the rosters change, the board of directors change,
That does happen.
and some of that stuff falls through the cracks.
Yeah.
But that's a simple thing, just follow the rules.
How about that?
So we have to buy it and follow the rules.
Exactly right, yeah.
Do we have any idea what those fee waivers look like annually for the league? Do we have any idea what the fee waivers look like?
What the value of the fee waivers look like? We can do a calculation. We can do a calculation that will be, we intend to do that as part of our follow-up to council in October or probably November, so we want to let the month of October go by, and we can share that with you.
Yeah.
What that value looks like.
Exactly, and I would imagine it would be good to share with the leagues as well, just because they can have a monetary visual of what these documents that they're being asked to submit equate to, so that say, hey, you could either pay this amount or submit these documents, and they'll have that in the
I see what you're saying, the rental fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and depending on, how wealthy they are as far as, collecting and saving funds for their league, they might just propose, okay, you know what, this is too much work for us, let's just pay the fee and be done with it.
Do they generally leave our facilities better than they found them?
Some of them do, yeah, and some of them, and you brought up soccer, so I'm gonna use soccer as an example. And I'm Ruby from soccer, over at Orangewood, they do a tremendous job with maintaining those soccer fields and investing in the annual, I think she's twice a year, the reseeding, just the annual maintenance that it takes to get those fields in playing shape and to keep them looking nice.
Do we reward them for anything for returning it better than they found it?
They can use it next year.
Exactly. And for some of the leagues, for some of them, they're happy with that because, they've invested so much of their time and their talent and their treasure into that space. Coming back next year and seeing the fruits of their labor, for some of them that's enough, but that's where I go back to, we're really emphasizing this annual report for the rest of the leagues. I want them to be able to share what they do. The not only do the bylaws require it, but it gives everyone, the information and the status of what it actually entails to run a league and the service that they're providing.
To add just one comment to what Commissioner Torres had requested about the value of the waivers. On the flip side of that, regarding Commissioner Fisher's comment, with regards to the value of their own in-kind volunteer hours,
Yep.
there is a cost attached to that that's kind of standard, and it would be good. Maybe a good practice to have both numbers.
Absolutely.
It could be that the value of having the system the way it is really a benefit to the larger community because of their ability to toss in extra man hours to clean up the fields and to water and keep things intact in some parks.
Yep.
And other parks, that would also maybe bring to light maybe that the city needs to step in a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of the fields like at Friendship, the one field at Friendship Park,
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes doesn't look as sparkly as other fields, but it's probably because it has less volunteer folks there.
And that's a really good point. When you have, a group or an organization or a travel ball team, and I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with the travel ball team, but when they're renting the fields, that sense of ownership may not always be there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the fees that we would waive, right? Those fees are in theory, those are supposed to go towards maintenance of the field from using.
Correct.
For what they're paying for,
Correct.
right?
And I would imagine that was, and this is just me thinking, exactly what you said, that was part of the reason why we look at in-kind donate or in-kind service. That's probably why they formulated it that way, the originators of this document.
I think fast forward, if they can present nonprofit status in good standing, one of the other requirements for that would be to submit a report estimating the value of their in-kind hours. So if they're not a nonprofit that is generating money, which many of the leagues aren't, it comes in and then it goes out, the value of their in-kind becomes really important. So maybe they just don't, at this moment, some of the leagues are not aware, or the boards are not aware that it's also inherent to be called a legitimate nonprofit. So just a comment.
No, I think that's a good comment, fair comment.
Do we have a template for that annual report that we kind of use or can provide them as a guide, what it's supposed to look like?
We don't have a template.
Okay.
We don't, and that's a good recommendation as
That would
well.
help, because then now they just know, okay, here's the template, fill this out. And these are the
This is what we're looking for.
categories. Yeah. Can you pull this one up real quick? This table? So the top is the leagues, right? So then West Covina, American Little League, those are the parks they're using if you go down.
So remember, this is from January 2023. It's very
Oh, okay.
similar.
Similar.
Yes, so because we did this report in October of 2023.
So West Covina American is using the Cortez baseball field, football field, and Shadow Oak. At this time, they were using those.
At that time, correct.
So the football field, they're using that for games or practices?
Both.
So they actually line the field?
No, for the little ones.
Oh, okay. So they just put the bases out
Yeah.
there and, okay. And the Pacific is Palm View,
Mhm.
and they're also using Shadow Oak?
There are
Sometimes.
times. Mhm.
Okay, National, they're using Shadow Oak as well.
So again, just to remind you, this is based on January 2023. This is how we reported it to council back in October of 2023.
And then since we're like trying to coordinate with the school district, do we have something that captures that too, like the school district fields?
We actually have a member of the school district sit at the table. We can get their information. I will tell you that there is a fee that is associated with the use of the school district fields. So the school district charges them, the city doesn't.
Right, yeah, I think Walmarado is the biggest one, they have.
For
3, I
Pony.
think.
There's a
Yeah.
couple of elementary schools whose fields are being used.
Right. yeah.
Del Norte Fields as well being used.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think who else off the top of my, you're right, Walmarado.
but Del Norte's is eventually gonna go away
You need
because
another one?
of the sale.
Correct.
And then the Bruins, the Bruins seem to be using the most fields.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
You got one? Yeah, I'm sorry, I gave it to you.
Okay.
You're welcome. My last one.
Are there any other questions or comments with regards to the presentation?
I think we had a good discussion.
Okay.
No more questions?
I think of a few more if you want to.
You can email them to me from your email.
I signed it.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation on that item. I look forward to a couple of updates
Yes.
on who's using the fields now. And I happen to have an example of a volunteer form for nonprofits.
If you would like to share that, that would be
Simple,
that would be helpful.
super simple.
And your template, the template idea is great. Like I said, we really we want to help our leagues tell their story, and we want to help our leagues gain compliance, and we want to understand what makes sense to do and what doesn't make sense to do.
Roxanne,
Yes,
my last question
Absolutely.
is, do you happen to know how many teams do we have right now?
Oh my goodness. No, I can't tell you off the top of how many, because each league is comprised of several teams. But we can get you a number, and I'll
That's
give it
okay.
to Deb if you could send it out. We'll get you a number.
I think she meant leagues, though, right? Or did you want actual?
Team, no, how many?
She wants teams.
In each league? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's gonna take some time.
And don't forget our senior league.
Yeah, we have our senior league.
They're not included in them.
Would they be included into our program?
They wouldn't be included in the sports council because the
And
purpose is for
expansion,
youth.
isn't it?
It's for youth,
Yeah.
yeah. If we looked at revamping it or redefining it, that might be different, but right now we.
So it's safe to say our seniors are in a league of their own?
A league of their own.
That is very true.
And on that note, if there are no other questions regarding this particular topic, we can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is Commissioner Torres, a request to discuss organizing a family hike.
Can I give a quick intro?
Go for it.
Okay, so Commissioner Torres, and then he's gonna take it from here. So Commissioner Torres has presented an idea about organizing a family hike. It's very similar to the one that was done with the mayor, but with, and not, how can I put this, not making it just a mayor event, but an event for all council members and for the commission to get behind. And so I'm gonna open it up to you.
This was an idea we had discussed, I think, a few times before, and something that I've been wanting to try to have the commission help me implement. Like Roxanne mentioned, we did like the initial hike as a mayor event, the mayor's annual monthly event. So this time we're trying to branch out, see if we could include the entire council depending on availability. And we're looking at going from Cortez Park, which you can see on the map there, to the left, bottom left, all the way to Jalapa Park in Covina, which is just north of the 10 freeway off of Holt. And
How many
that,
miles is that?
that's 2 miles.
Is that just 2 miles?
Are we running on the freeway or something?
No, you're not.
On the frontage road?
We walked it.
So the intent of the activity is, of course, to promote health and wellness and family activity, but it's also to create awareness about all the great facilities we have, trail facilities in this case. So some of you may know that if you go into Maverick Field / Equestrian Ridge Riders Center, there's a trail that leads you along the Walnut Creek Wash, and it branches into the new development. I forget the name of the development, but there's also a trail through there. And then ultimately connects you to the Shabaram Skyline Trail and the Antonovich Trail to the north to San Dimas. So the trail we're going to take only takes you to Jalapa Park, but if you were to continue from there, you could make it to Bonelli Park, all off-street, all through dedicated trails. From there on, it's a county trail. But what you see in red there is all West Covina. And so we have agreements with the county to use those portions of the trail along the Walnut Creek, and some of them are owned and maintained by us, by the city. So it's a mix, but my understanding is that years ago the council had this in mind to be able to connect that equestrian community to those 2 equestrian trails I mentioned, Shabaram Skyline Trail and Antonovich Trail. And that connects you to the Bonelli Park Equestrian Center as well.
Just further up.
So it's to promote health, to promote, family gatherings, the council could come out and support, and then also to make people aware of these great facilities we have. So Roxanne and I actually walked it already just to tour the trail, and Mike Crescent joined us as well, and Captain Plunkett was walking with us as well. And it was a really pleasant experience. There's portions of that walk that are really serene, and there's actually a portion that has like 3 or 4 oak trees, mature oak trees, which are beautiful.
And you pointed, you pointed
Yeah,
us out.
and the fact that that trail goes unused kind of bothers me because it's so beautiful. If people knew those types of trees were there and how serene they were. And we've been working really hard at making sure that that trail's cleaned up. I've been working with Mike on that. And then I talked to Captain Plunkett. He's told me that he sends his bike patrol through there as well to make sure it's safe and clean. So the idea behind the event is that the commission kind of be the liaison to the community, try to get people to come out, talk to your friends. Hopefully all of you can join. Hopefully all the council can join. I've already reached out to just hiking groups I know on Facebook, on different social media, letting them know. And the hope is that we can eventually highlight all of our parks and trails every other month, maybe bi-monthly, and have these hikes. So there's another beautiful trail by Heritage Park that takes you up all the way to Walnut, which is really nice. There's a trail we went on last month, which was from Cameron to Cortez. That's a Walnut Creek Trail. So there's all these facilities that many are unaware of. So to create awareness and to promote health and wellness and community. So, if any of you have any ideas of how we can promote it, any groups we can reach out to, it would be helpful. And then I think Paulina's going to be coordinating with the council to see their availability on dates. But we're looking at the 22nd.
We're looking at June. One of the things, and this is information for you. We discussed, Mike and I had a discussion today. There are portions of that trail that do need a little bit of work. Portions of that trail is actually managed by a homeowners association over by that development. So we're looking at reaching out to them as well. It may take some further coordination. But we are working through the city manager's office, also wanting to getting a sense of the feeling of the commission as well on it.
The 22nd.
We have a chorus right here.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think
2
that's a
miles.
fabulous
2 miles.
4 miles.
Only 2 miles.
Well, the
It's
idea,
more than 2 miles.
Chairman,
I count 3 freeway exits.
Councilmember Contos?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would there be a way, Robert, to develop a trail guide? Like when they have points of interest, and maybe on that particular day, we can find people who have expertise about the history of the trail and have people stationed along the way, maybe just on our designated day, so that way people could be welcome. That way it sort of adds pride in what the areas are and what they have to offer, and then maybe have other organizations get involved along the way, so that way, in addition to them walking the trail, they'll gain a sense of history, and then places along the way, if they're entities that could be stationed there to sort of welcome them and say, well, you're going to go next to the next checkpoint, that sort of thing. So Roxanne, it would be sort of like the way with that walk out of darkness. Do you remember how we had how Delhaven had different stations where they would walk? It would sort of be that sort of model.
yes.
Like a passport?
Yes, like a passport, right. Like a passport sort of approach, right. And maybe
Okay.
involving scouting and other trails, so that way people can learn points of interest along the way, and then that would actually add pride in that. Say, hey, this is all ours. This is all belongs to us.
no, that's a good idea. And the idea I had, Councilman Contos, was in order to expedite the event, because I would hate for it to be delayed and to kind of just sit for a while until we can arrange a more of an elaborate trail experience. The shortcut to that was I was hoping to attend, and I was hoping to be that voice if I could, because I understand the trail. I'm familiar with the development of it, the facilities we're passing, so hopefully I could just share what I know, and that at least would be an introduction to everybody. And then I'm also familiar with the greenway along the Walnut Creek and how that was developed through partnership with the county. And then I've spoken to many people that have history at Ridge Riders, and they've given me a lot of information that I could share. But I completely agree with you 100% that is a way better idea, because then you could have a lot more involvement. You could have other organizations along the trail, and they could be sharing articulating their areas, maybe history they know about what we're walking through. But if we can make it happen in a month, that would be great. But otherwise, I think just having people there that might have history would be, I think, ideal.
Yeah, ideal, yeah. And to prepare for that, Robert, if the trail needed some TLC, if you put a group together, I would be more than happy to come and help beautify it. I just spent a week in DC, and that's exactly what I did. I want me and about 20 other Merrill Gardens employees walked the National Mall and picked up trash, and you think, oh, I'm picking up trash. It was so rewarding to do that. And that's what I'm gonna do here in West Covina, is come here and pick up trash and make, make it beautiful. So if you wanna do that, I will not only be your cheerleader, but I will get my picture and I will do it.
Well, the good news is that it's not in that bad of shape.
That's good.
There is, like Roxanne mentioned, areas that need attention, but last year, I think, or maybe 2 years ago, I brought it to staff's attention, primarily Mike, and I walked it a lot. So I let him know, hey, and so he was on top of it right away. He addressed a lot of issues over the last 2 years with staff going out and clearing brush that was too high. So this last time we went, it wasn't too bad. There's areas that need attention, but I wouldn't say nothing that we would need to get a group together to do, because I think staff's already doing it, but I might take you up on that. So then we can all, as a commission, if you want, before the event happens, we can walk it together if everyone's available. And if we can't do it together, maybe in groups of 2 or 3. And then when you do that, you could clean up as you go.
I'm in.
Yeah.
You know what? My husband fishes, right? I don't fish. But I take my bag and my picker and I pick up things along the stream, and that's my deal.
Okay, can I bring up something where just from someone who doesn't hear that well? Okay, we've tramped and we're walking, and 2 miles is great. If it's hot and there's no shade, you better make your speech fast, because you're gonna lose people.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm gonna be walking and talking.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
gonna be, standing in the sun.
Because everybody's gotta hear you, that's the thing.
Yeah, I'll
You know,
just be
that's-
walking and talking.
That was my point. I mean, that's what I was thinking. In the event, just making it quick and you talking, depending on how many people are there, maybe you can have a recording or something that somebody can dial into and hear you talking, depending on how many people, because everybody's not gonna hear you.
Right. Yeah, and just
You know,
Just from experience,
some kind of,
Just from experience in giving presentations, I typically have talking
It
points,
has to be done.
not to bore people, so I might just say one fact about here and one fact about there, and keep it moving. I don't know if I don't think I'll give a lecture on anything. It might just be interesting
points of
tidbits.
interest.
Yeah.
Well, it does sound like the group is, the commission is excited about the possibility of lending a helping hand in some way or form to the family hike. You can certainly count on me. I was actually just thinking too along the lines of maybe for those commissioners who aren't up to a 2-mile hike in possibly very hot weather in June, maybe they could be part of a station where they just hand out water. Or
Yeah, that's an excellent idea.
just something simple
Oh, yeah,
to
we have to.
participate and
And something else to keep in mind, the first hike we had, which I was unable to attend, but the first hike we had, the destination, which was Cortez Park, had the Go West shuttle waiting for everybody.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah.
We just
Wait for the breeze to happen.
Yeah, so that's the idea,
Yeah.
to hopefully work out the Go West shuttle to be at Jalapa Park, and to have them take everyone back to Cortez. But for those who want to hike back,
Sure.
it's fine. And I think that's what we did, right? I left from Jalapa, and Captain Plunkett, Mike, and Roxanne walked back. I was the lazy one, so. So yeah, that's what happened the first time. I don't see why we couldn't do it. And I think the mayor used his discretionary funds for the shuttle. I think, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I would imagine, yes.
whatever arrangement we can make for the shuttle to be there, whether it's the same or if they could come out of.
We'll work through the city manager's office, so we'll coordinate that
And
one.
if we can't coordinate it to the city, I have a little bit of power to use the Merrill Gardens bus. I have a little bit of pull to use the Merrill Gardens bus. There you go.
Nice, air conditioned.
Half a mile.
She knows people.
You're turning into an Uber, Sherry, be careful.
I can make money off of it?
What was that, Commissioner
Did you
Diaz?
see any coyotes along the way? Because they're.
We
they're out here.
didn't.
No coyotes.
We,
No coyotes.
yeah, we, time of day though?
Coming, let me tell you.
What time of day did you go?
I'm surprised.
And mostly it's because it's an urban hike.
Yeah, there's too much activity, I
This
think,
is
yeah.
not a typical mountain type hike that people are used to.
Well, they're hanging around Seven Park.
Well, they live in the wash.
They're walking down
Yeah, so I'm
the
surprised you
I
didn't
saw
see
them
any.
crossing
They
the
Yeah, I
just sit
didn't
down.
see any.
We didn't.
Wow.
We didn't. Yeah, we didn't.
A lot of birds, but the,
Well,
Stop that.
yeah, so if any of you have any ideas that could help advertise it, or maybe, like you mentioned, having some commissioners, maybe just that aren't able to walk the whole route, they could be in a station handing out waters. There's surprisingly a lot of open space along the trail. So there's areas where you could just sit in the shade under the oak tree. I counted at least 4 or 5 oak trees, like mature oak trees on the trail, which are rare to see in the city.
So with regards to the request to organize a family hike, the next step would be, I personally would recommend that perhaps Commissioner Torres, and I'd be more than happy to help you, we could form a subcommittee of this commission simply to work closely with the city manager's office, police department, Parks and Rec, and the city council to make sure it happens and communicate to everyone what ultimately, in its simplicity, to make it a family hike on June 22nd.
So the recommendation would be for a subcommittee?
Yes, to form a subcommittee to be separate from the commission to come up with a framework for how to best provide well, because you have to remember, safety is number one, whether it's a coyote or
And it could, I
a
don't
trip
know,
and fall.
the subcommittees, I don't know how it would work, but it could be an unofficial subcommittee. It doesn't have to be an ad hoc committee like we have to vote on. It'll just be a temporary subcommittee, not like a new ad hoc committee.
Do you want to add?
I would suggest it be an ad hoc, because those can be changed yearly. And if it's gonna be more than just this event, you could
So
do
we
it
could
like
create it
a family
tonight as part of
getting
the-
active kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We could create it tonight as part of the ad hoc
As
item?
part of the ad hoc, because there's availability to create subcommittees as well as vote on members for the one that we held over.
Okay, so maybe we'll call it the event subcommittee, something to that extent.
Getting community active.
If you want to specify, I don't know you want to call it event subcommittee, but I think specifically for, it seems like the trails and the hiking, it seems to be something that this commission is really gravitating towards, and maybe
Okay.
perhaps we specify
Okay.
that it's for hikes and, would you call it getting back to nature?
Getting back to nature.
So it'd be
Family
like
hike
family
subcommittee.
hike subcommittee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you want to be specific,
okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
so for B.
So any questions from anyone related to the hike?
You said June 22nd?
It's a Saturday.
What time do you plan on starting?
We're thinking 10?
We're gonna put TBA till we get everything cleared up with everyone's
yeah.
calendars.
Yeah,
And if there's any
TBA,
news
but
with the committee,
the last hike was at 10 a.m.
I think in June, you probably need it earlier, but let's put the committee together and then we can talk about the specifics.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a question?
Yes, Daryl, so that trail as it stands right now is accessible to the public?
Yeah, you
Through
can go
Maverick
tomorrow.
Field to that point?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know there's an area that you actually have to walk on the river if you're gonna take it all the way to the top of San Dimas Avenue,
Yeah,
past Reeder Bridge and so forth.
yeah, so the access road along the Walnut Creek Wash, it's open
On the
And-
south side.
on the south
the
side.
wash.
Yeah, and that's through an agreement with the city and the county to have that accessible.
And the other thing I was gonna make is just, because I do see that there's some street crossings and on the.
Yeah, you have
on the
to
hike with
cross-
the mayor, there was division of groups.
Yeah.
Street crossings.
Yeah, on this one, you just cross Barranca. And you cross Barranca and you cross Garvey Avenue South. I think those are the only two crossings that you'll need to.
And no, it's not about approval, but the subcommittee you guys are doing is for relation to the hike or relation to developing the trail?
Just specific to family hiking events.
Yes, Commissioner, Councilmember Contis?
Thank you. I'd recommend to staff that they also look at accessibility provisions and standards that are out by the United States Access Board, just to ensure that there's accessibility along the way. Not that necessarily there'll be wheelchair accessibility, but because it's a natural open space, but just to make sure that be checked in advance in case somebody might have those needs. We'll already be ready in advance.
Back to the protocol with
Yes.
forming an ad hoc committee for family hikes. Does this commission need to motion? And may I call for a first motion to form a subcommittee specifically for addressing and developing and coordinating the family hike with the city?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second motion?
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
I have questions. I do have some questions. Because the fact that you're going to do the walking, and I hate to say this, but you're going to be doing the walking, you have to prepare the people with water, which is so important when you go out hiking. So who's going to furnish the water for them? Is it the committee? Does the committee furnishing the water for the walkers, or do they bring their own water, or how
I
does that
think we
work?
just formed the committee, so we have to discuss that.
The one example we have,
That's a good question about.
the one example we have is the first family hike. In the first family hike, the advertisement had a note there to bring your own water. But like Chair Munoz recommended, having the water station would be helpful as well. But everybody was notified on the flyer to bring their own water. I think walking shoes, comfortable walking shoes,
Water walking
Sunscreen
shoe
and
and sunscreen.
sunscreen. So far, we haven't had an issue with no one's sort of without water. But now we got that covered, because we're gonna have
Because that was volunteer, but now you're making an issue of the cities.
no, the first one was,
It's all volunteer, then you have to specify that too.
right. Yeah, we'll make sure everyone has water for sure.
We'll try to address all of those pertinent issues that are related to
Putting on
making
the-
sure that if you invite guests and it's gonna be a fun event, that the guests are aware of what our limitations are as well. So
And
we
what-
don't
What there, I would guess that if you're not into walking and you're not into hiking, you're probably not gonna participate. I don't go anywhere without this. It's what you need to do.
That's
when
you.
Well, anybody that's hiking,
There's a hill,
and we remind them on the flyer, and they know they're, you know, the city can't be
That's what I'm saying,
responsible.
you have to
That's right.
specify
Yeah,
certain requirements.
Yeah, the city can't be responsible though for you to say, wear hiking shoes.
No. You have to specify certain requirements.
So with regards to that, Commissioner Baez, the ad hoc committee will meet, we will try to touch on we'll try to cover all of our bases, not because we were talking about the sports council, but we'll try to cover all of the bases that are reasonable for the limitations that we have.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, that's next time.
We're about to get to that.
Anything to add, Roxanne, before we move on?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay. So, back to our agenda, I want to thank everybody. That was a really great discussion. Thank you so much. Moving back to our agenda is the selection of ad hoc committee members. And I'm going to kind of pass that over to city staff.
You ready, Deb?
Yep. So item number 5, we held over for the homeless subcommittee, but you also have an opportunity to create other committees if you want to. One of them that was priorly brought up was possibly bringing back this subcommittee of sports council to have some members on that as well. So I just wanted to put that out there, but it's up to the commission to decide what committees they want to create or who they want to appoint or who wants to volunteer under the homeless subcommittee.
And then the newly formed family hike.
Yes, you'll need up to 4 members you can have on each, or 4 commissioners.
Are you looking for a suggestion for an ad hoc?
What's the duty or job description, to be part of the company?
For the homeless subcommittee,
What we have to do, like,
you just attend any meetings that the group or the 4 commissioners decide to meet, not necessarily here at the city, they can meet anywhere to discuss issues related to that subcommittee. So
just
for
to
instance,
have a meeting, attend the meeting, or do some volunteer work?
I could be that as well. Like for the homeless subcommittee, when that was created, it was created, I want to say 6 years ago. On the commission, the homeless committee.
How often do we meet?
It's whenever the commissioners decide to meet together. It's nothing, you guys get together and decide what your schedule is, when you can meet.
It's a volunteer meeting.
Yeah, it's a volunteer basis. And then one of the things that the homeless subcommittee did do was they would attend the homeless count as a group. So then they would come back and report on what they did at that event.
In West Covina also, right?
Yeah.
Territory, West
Yes,
Covina.
in West Covina territory.
I can be a volunteer.
So so real quick on the homeless count, that is an annual event that takes place typically January. I want to say January, the earlier part of the year. The hub for that is the Cameron Community Center. Volunteers go out, they meet there, they're given their assignments, and they count the homeless and come back and report the numbers. And so Deb's absolutely right, that would be something that the subcommittee would be encouraged to participate and attend.
May I ask a question on that? On the homeless, do you have to coordinate that with the county?
The county reaches out each year on an annual basis to coordinate dates. So the subcommittee would be participants of the homeless count. They're not coordinating it, they're just participating in it.
The county coordinates it.
Correct.
We provide the facility for them to use.
But you do coordinate with the county?
Yes.
Yes.
We work with the city to provide the facility and push it out to the public.
I'll volunteer also.
First, the homeless subcommittee.
To push the process along for requesting volunteers for each subcommittee, do we want to discuss each potential subcommittee and then ask for volunteers? Hearing none, we'll just move on to the next committee?
Absolutely.
Okay. So with the brief explanation that was given by the city with regards to the homeless subcommittee, Again, all of these subcommittees are voluntary. We can have up to, it's always good to have at least 3 individuals on a subcommittee at minimum. That way you can elect a chair and you can have a discussion with regards to current issues. You can decide where you want to meet. Robert and I, Commissioner Torres and I, have met with various commissioners at either a restaurant, and we had a small agenda just to talk about whatever was relative to the subcommittee that we were working on. So with that said, we can go around the room or ask if anyone is interested in volunteering for the homeless subcommittee.
We already have Gail said she'd be interested.
And then Charlie said.
And Charlie, yes, I put him down.
What is one committee already, right, so, you know,
Okay.
I'm already one committee, the same thing,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I did. Gail's on.
Okay.
Make sure we serve also,
Yeah.
the time management.
No, I don't have anything against it, I just, I didn't say it.
There's 2.
The next subcommittee that we had, and I don't see it, so you'll have to correct me if I'm out of order. I don't see the Community Development Block Grant Subcommittee on this.
I want to
Unless it's-
say that we filled those.
I think we already.
Yeah, we already filled
We
it.
filled
Yeah,
those
we already done
positions.
We did that one?
Yeah, we only brought this one back because it didn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So we had coordinated that homeless presentation by the Hope team at the last commission meeting.
Right.
And so that was a holdover from the last meeting, also because we didn't have,
Enough commissioners in attendance.
Is there any way you have like description of duty as a, you know, homeless committee?
Not individually, no,
What
it's
is-
made,
okay.
it's just where you meet to discuss issues related to homeless. So that could also be just meeting with the Hope team and getting more information from them.
Okay.
Or just anything related to homeless that you want to learn. You can also attend if there's
The city has already
Presentations.
a committee also, right? The city has any plan for homeless?
we have a Hope team with our police
Okay, so you
department.
work with them,
Yeah, so
Okay.
you can work, yeah, a task force
Okay.
with the police department, so you work
coordinator.
with them, and then again, the homeless count is another event that they do. Or if you wanted to do a ride along with them, you could do a ride along with them as well.
Right, it's good cause, I know.
So you're basically a citizen keeping in touch with the homeless outreach program,
Right.
our police officers program as well, and then relaying that back to the public.
Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Do we happen to have the list, subcommittee lists, so we can remind ourselves who's on what committee?
It might be in our minutes, there's the previous one. The previous
January.
agenda, yeah.
It's in the
The
January.
January agenda. I don't have that on me now.
We can provide it to you.
That would be
I
great.
think,
Yeah, once they're all
CDBG,
done, I will
because
post those.
Yeah.
can't remember that. And then I know that we still have the infrastructure, or
The
capital
CIP.
improvement committee?
We don't have the CIP committee, they're not meeting on a regular basis. If this commission is interested in that, we can discuss that. And remember, it would be per the purview of this commission, so things that are related to parks.
Was that something that we didn't fill, or, because we had that before?
CIP?
I think we filled the CIP
Yeah.
and CDBG.
Okay, so the CIP is
Those
filled.
two have been filled.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, we haven't been meeting, but we certainly can.
I think Kelly was gonna reach out for some things, because he reached out to me to get those
Yeah.
lists.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Perfect.
And then who would be the one that would coordinate the CIP ones? Would that be still Mike or someone else? Because Mike used to do that one before.
We'll work with Jerry
Jerry,
to do the coordination of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good.
Moving on, now we get to fill the volunteer slots for our newly formed ad hoc committee for family hikes.
Walk.
Did we fill the homeless? I only have two.
We have 3 for the homeless.
I had Betty.
Oh, Betty.
For the homeless?
Yeah, oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Gail.
Commissioner Fisher.
Yeah.
I have Gail and Commissioner.
Only?
Patel.
Council member.
Oh, okay, he's, he's a council, so he can participate, but it's for your commission, for the commission. Okay. Just checking. Okay, so I have at least 3. Okay. Okay, the next one is the family center. Okay, Diaz. All right,
I could be on the subcommittee too.
that's more than, we can only have, oh, I guess, we could-
Or 4,
no,
right?
5 is 4, no.
We're asking for the 4 commissioners.
Oh.
Who are the 4 names that we have so far, please?
Mason, Patel, Munoz, and Diaz.
Oh, Diaz volunteered. Okay. I'll defer to Diaz.
Good job.
Now back to the family
Back to the family hub. So we are looking for now volunteers to form our ad hoc committee, specifically to work on the family hub. Do we have volunteers?
I'd like to do that.
Commissioners, anyone else?
Torres. Commissioner Torres.
I'm waiting for the other 3, but yeah, obviously. I would like to.
You guys speak up, someone might claim your spot.
We need one more.
So who are the 3 so far?
1, 2,
Us 3?
Us three?
Okay. We need
One more.
Hector?
Family
I got a
high.
question for you now. Instead of doing the walk, is it okay if I bring my bicycle and just ride slow?
Yeah, I think it
Would
is.
that be okay?
I think it's, yeah.
You can make a double round.
Yeah.
I would like to name a mountain bike though.
Yeah.
Maybe not a cycling bike.
Big wheels.
Or a 3-wheeler. Low rider.
So Diaz as well?
The only difficulty is that there is a bridge, like a very tiny, short bridge. Besides that, everything's really accessible.
Is it a swinging bridge too, or?
Hold on now.
No, it's a bridge. It's actually unique because it's very rare to have these, but it's a bridge that crosses the Walnut Creek Wash. That's a
It does.
That's a pedestrian bridge.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
She's zooming in. We're zooming in.
Which is actually.
It's a wood bridge.
No, that's a different one.
Oh, that's a different one?
That's in the community. So if you guys see those homes there, you can see they're all new, right? So before those homes came in, that lot was developed, and the developer had a condition of approval to put that trail in.
So
as part of
it
the
goes
development.
behind.
Wow.
So
Goes
that
up
red
behind.
line is the trail that's
So
within
it goes
that
right
development.
through there.
Through their little paseo
development.
area, yeah.
So the council back then had the forethought to put that in because they wanted to connect our equestrian center to the Shabaram equestrian trail.
Is this the bridge? Where's the bridge at?
It's kind of hidden. If you go to the right, keep going, and somewhere in there, right there, where your cursor is, right?
Right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a sneaky one,
it's a
okay.
tiny little bridge, but it's very rare to have a pedestrian bridge crossing the channel just because of the cost involved. So when they did that, it was,
Is there a sign that says no fishing from this bridge?
You gotta get water in the water to fish,
Diving.
just saying.
yeah, so, and that area is
So who do you?
a potential area where we could have a water station too.
So back to the agenda, back to the formation of the ad hoc commission. Commissioner Diaz, you had a question, but are you interested in volunteering to serve on the committee?
For the, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Is that what?
That's
For the hike, for family hiking.
So you'll be in touch, Robert?
Yeah, so it'll be Commissioner Diaz, Munoz, Fisher, and myself.
Is anyone else interested in serving on that volunteer commission, or subcommittee, sorry?
I'm sorry, who were the 4? Who was it?
Myself,
You?
Munoz, and Fisher.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sounds like it's gonna be a success. Thank you.
Looks fun.
Have a
Sounds
key.
fun. It's gonna be fun.
Does that subcommittee meet here, or is that open to public?
We'll meet wherever we decide to meet. When we did the homeless committee, we met at Panera Bread once.
There you go.
Because it's not an official meeting, and then we just report back to the commission on what we discussed.
We can also meet at the trailhead.
Or we can meet at the trailheads, yeah, wherever we're thinking of meeting.
Well, thank you everyone on that topic. Moving on,
And then Deb, for the ad hoc committees, do you think you could send an email out with the lists?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I need a motion to approve, I don't know why that's not going, there we go. Motion to approve the ad hoc committee.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
And I second it, we did that.
I think just for the last one.
Just for the last one, but, okay. And do I need to do roll call or with all in favor?
Anyone opposed? No.
Oh, okay, the minutes.
Do I need to do a roll call?
yes.
Okay. For approving homeless subcommittee participants for Commissioner Munoz, Patel, Mason, and Diaz, as well as forming the family hike event subcommittee with participants of Commissioner Torres, Fisher, Munoz, Diaz. I have a motion by Torres and a second by Fisher, and I'm doing a roll call, starting with Commissioner Cabelayan. Yes, okay. Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
Commissioner Flowers, Commissioner Gutierrez, Commissioner Mason,
Yes.
Commissioner Torres,
Yes.
Commissioner Patel,
Yes.
Commissioner Velez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fisher,
Yes.
Chair Torres.
Munoz.
I'm sorry, Munoz. Munoz.
Yes.
Vote of 8 with 0, and motion passes. And he's one. Check it out.
Moving on to the agenda, the next topic is Discover, the senior highlight page.
If I may, Chair Munoz, we'd like to swap orders again.
Okay.
And the reason we'd like to is because we have a recommendation for number 6, but we'd like to go through the
Okay.
PowerPoint first.
That would be fun.
So with us today is Recreation Services Supervisor Vanessa Ibanez. She will be presenting for you a Community Services Department update. We are reviewing the winter season. A little bit confusing, but we're not done with spring yet. So we're reviewing the winter season. Go ahead.
So good evening, Commission. Today we're going to be going over all the activities, special events that happen in the winter season. So we're covering December, January, and February. So a lot of good things happen. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just an overview, again, of the community services. It's now a department. So currently there's a total of 61 staff. That's comprised of full-time and part-time staff. So first we'll go over what has been going on during that season at the Senior Center. So here's some photos that we had. We do an annual Christmas, a week of like magic, holiday magic for the seniors. We call it Christmas at Cortez. So some of those photos are from there. We had Santa come out. We did a Christmas disco party. You know, we decorated. We gave all the seniors little mini trees that they decorated and they got to take home. So and then we had a dance. So we do various activities. So that's one of the highlights during the holiday season. And then just our mission statement. Again, the overview of the team at the Senior Center. It's comprised of our meal program staff. So everybody knows we do have a congregate meal program where we have 2 chefs on site that prepare fresh meals daily for the seniors, and then our recreation staff that programs all the events, workshops, and programming that goes on at the Senior Center daily. And here's some more photos that we had from our events during the Christmas season as well, and for our New Year's party and Valentine's Day. So we're gonna do a tiny mic interview. This is Leonard Lopez. He's one of our regular seniors that goes to the senior center. He comes daily. He's actually a former pro boxer. He is a veteran, and he's an artist. So if you ever go by the senior center, we have a display case of a senior's art, and he has a lot of art in there. And we have it displayed on our walls as well. So this is his interview. Play it right now.
I've been at the senior center for 2 years. My name's Leonard Lopez. And I haven't found a better place to have a good time. Everybody here is wonderful and kind and considerate.
So cute.
Easy.
Art.
The art classes are fantastic.
Great. What do you think about the staff here? What's going on?
About the what?
The staff.
Oh, the staff been tremendously nice. Wonderful people.
What's your memorable moment here? What's like a favorite moment you had here?
Well, dancing is one of my favorites.
That's neat.
Do you have a favorite event?
Oh, I like to dance. I don't move too well, but I still like to dance.
So that's one of our regular seniors. Like you said, he loves to dance, so you'll find him on the dance floor.
How old is he?
He's in his 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great, he's always, coming and talking with the staff, the other seniors. He's very, very positive, so we love having him at the senior center.
Thank you. Bless you.
Yeah, so he's a great guy. Okay, let's see if it goes.
It's because the video, gotta click again.
Oh, there we go. So as mentioned, we do serve meals daily, Monday through Friday at the senior center. So for December, we served 1,787 meals. In January, we served 2,393, and February, we served 2,093. And our meal program is very popular at the senior center. Daily, we see at least 3 to 5 new people come in and register. We've had for this past, we're closing up on the fiscal year. We've had over, I would say, like 1,500 people register into the meal program, which is, I think, a testament to the staff. And we pride ourselves because we're one of the only organizations in the San Gabriel Valley that have chefs on site. So we do really pride ourselves in our meal program and the meals. We get a lot of positive feedback, and we have a lot of seniors from West Covina, but also from surrounding cities that always compliment our meal program. So I'm really proud of the staff there, the chefs. They do put their heart and soul into it. So they're a fantastic team there. For our class attendance, those are the numbers there. So we have a variety of free activities and then also paid fee classes. So we do partnerships with Mount Sac. So we have yoga, we have art, we have home gardening. We do exercise classes, yoga, tai chi. We have some paid fee classes. Our line dance classes are very popular. We have 2 different ones. We have Zumba, we have Latin, ballroom. So there's an array of activities for everybody. So we do pride ourselves. We've been implementing a lot more workshops and partnerships, like with Eminent Health. They come out and do talks, health-related talks. Greater Covina Medical too comes out and do free blood pressure, glucose screening, a little bit of everything for everyone there.
So do you mind reading off the attendance numbers?
So in December 2023, there was 192, January 2024, 456, and then February 2024 is 228 people. So there's a lot, and that's just in our classes. Our meal program, we see about 100 to 180 daily. Our special events see about 180 to 200 people depending on the event. So
Is there any reason for the spike in January?
I think there's just more days. Yeah. Yeah, and then for December we have the holiday closure. So yeah. So, and then everybody honestly is coming back from their vacation, so everybody's like, hey, I'm excited to do programming, it's a new year, so we do see an influx usually in January too. So.
I visited twice and talked to a couple of very seniors. It was a nice program, My neighbor is a doctor, he goes there 3 days a week. He'll enjoy that.
Aw,
It's a
okay.
blessing for the senior, to be honest.
Definitely, to socialize,
So
to
nice,
make friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And keep up the good work.
thank you, I appreciate that. And the staff, really enjoy what they do, and it just brings a sense of community within, the senior center, and, they make friends, they get to
Oh, yeah.
socialize, have a good meal, take classes, go on trips, go to the casino. That's their favorite.
Very nice. I went, I'm also a yoga teacher.
Oh,
At
okay.
the Diamond Center, so nursing home. So I went, then we already have a teacher there, so I was okay.
Yeah, we have our yoga instructor that's there Tuesdays and Thursdays,
Very
so.
nice.
Come down, join us, have a meal with us.
Fine, yeah, I went there, What's your name?
My name's Vanessa, I'm the supervisor there, so.
Well, that's okay, I can't see there, yeah.
Yeah. So come down, have a meal with us.
Do we know how many seniors get dial-a-ride to get to the senior center?
We have a few, and actually the Uber program has been pretty popular too. We've had quite a few sign-ups. So they utilize both the Uber and they utilize Dial-A-Ride to come in. So both those programs are utilized, and they do sign up at the senior center, and I know a few people even come here to City Hall to see Kelly to sign up for the Uber program too.
Oh, and the shuttle goes there.
Yeah, and the shuttle, the West Covina shuttle does go there as well. So there's 3 resources, that they could take.
Is there any way we could track that, like a ridership?
You can see the ridership from MB Transit.
One of my concerns has always been that
They do track it.
Yeah, they do.
It's
Then
the seniors that take the modes of transportation, kind of like when you do at work, you take that ridership survey, like how are you getting to the senior center?
And honestly, we have a lot of independent seniors, and most of them drive.
Most of them drive.
Yeah, most of them drive. Yeah.
Parking lot is packed.
There's no. If you go by any day, there's no parking. They all.
Yeah,
They all drive.
The day I hiked on my own was the
Yeah.
day I decided to hike on my own.
Uh-huh.
It was the Cinco de Mayo park.
Yeah. There's no. Yeah. No.
No.
I had to park by the fire station.
Yeah.
Pickup service,
Yeah.
pickup also. There's a bus there, very good.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So yeah, but a lot of them are very independent and drive, or they carpool. They have they made friends, so they carpool and they come together. So it's actually a really good sense of community. So, so there's definitely a lot of ways to get there. And then these are just some of the excursions and events that we had happening at the senior center. So like mentioned, we had Christmas at Cortez, and for that week we saw 335 participants. So we had a really good turnout. We did have a disco party. It was called Disco All the Way. So there were 60 participants there. We had our DIY Christmas tree where they all got a mini Christmas tree to take home. They put ornaments on it, and we had snacks. They had a really good time. We had 35 participants for that one. We had our mystery event, which consists of a visit from Santa and some karaoke. We had 40 participants. And then we had our Deck the Halls dance with DJ Rudy. DJ Rudy's our resident senior center DJ, I want to say. And we had 200 participants. He has a following. We did have a New Year's brunch. We had 180 participants. They love musicals, so we went to go see MG live. We took 50 participants, it got sold out. We had our Valentine's Day party with 180 participants, and then the casino is very popular. We went to Morongo, 50 participants. So the casino musicals are like our most popular trips. They love to go to the Pantages and we go to Grand Central Market. And of course the casino, any casino is popular. And this is just a list of classes that we have here. We offer Zumba, line dance, ballroom, Latin dance, flex fitness, Tai Chi, aerobics, yoga, mobile technology, which is a cell phone class, which helps seniors, navigate their iPads or their cell phones. Basic computing, to how to use Word, PowerPoint, basics of Excel, how to use the internet for internet research, home gardening, watercolor painting, pickleball, which has become really popular. Our seniors love it now, so we play now on Fridays if you want to come down. We have a walking club as well. We do chair volleyball and a variety of art workshops. So there's a little something for everybody. We've been really trying to expand our classes and workshops at the senior center. So yeah, and then free services, we still offer our case management program. I know I've referred some people. People have asked questions, and the commissioners as well have reached out to me. So if anybody needs a case manager, definitely reach out to the senior center. Free notary as well. If a senior needs a document notarized, go ahead and direct them our way. We give free legal consultations, a 15-minute legal consultations. So if a senior has a legal question, they can make an appointment. We do have a real estate options program, so if they have any real estate related questions, they can make a free 15-minute appointment as well to get some direction. And then these are all the workshops we offer during that time. We had a workshop on arthritis, reverse mortgages, a relay service which has to do with cell phones and phones, a smartphone workshop that's really popular, will and trust as well, financial health and wealth, Medicare, the Mediterranean diet, so like on food, more real estate, those are really popular at the senior center, California property tax, long-term care, holiday crafts, wealth preservation, and planning how you can take care of your loved ones. So a lot of those workshops are really popular amongst the seniors. So, you know, we're trying to expand upon that list. So if you have any suggestions, we're always open to that as well.
I have a suggestion.
Okay, what's that?
For cooking, and I think I've mentioned it in the past, but for cooking, would you guys be open to doing like a celebrity, like chef type event where they would work with our cook and then they could do like a cooking event?
We actually did that, it wasn't this year, but last year. It wasn't cooking, but they made their own like charcuterie boards and like they put those together and they really enjoyed that. So we have done something of that sort. We can look into cooking, just, you know, with the regulations in the kitchen, I would have to definitely see that.
Yeah, it would have to be something very simple.
Yeah, but yes, they did do that, and they liked it. So they learned how to make like the flours out of the meat, and then they got their own little individual charcuterie boards, and they put it together, and then of course they ate them at the end. the best part, the eating portion. So things like that we could definitely do, and then also we've done cookie decorating during the holidays as well. So small things like that they're able to do, and they enjoyed that. So. We also have an environmental services portion at the senior center. We do have offer discounts for West Covina residents over the age of 62 for their trash. They get a discount on their trash bills that is quarterly. So we can process those at the senior center. So if anybody needs that, they can come down and we can assist. So for December, we had 32 applications submitted, January 15, and then February 49. And then this is kind of about the ridership. These are how many dial-a-ride applications were submitted. So in December, 11 people, January 14, and then February 7 people. So we're continually signing people up for dial-a-ride at the senior center as well.
Is it an annual sign up or is it?
No, once you sign up, you're in the system. Yeah.
That's my next question for Vanessa. Have you heard about that recently? What happens?
Yeah, so if you want, come down to the senior center and we'll help you sign up. Just got to bring your ID. There's an application we have at the senior center. And your trash bill. Yeah. And then we'll get that submitted. So.
What is the discount? Is it 10% or?
It just varies on what plan you have on your trash. So so if you're currently in a billing cycle, it won't get discounted until the next one.
Vanessa, I get that service from Anthem, and they also really help you out to take out your trash cans to the street, and they bring them back to you, to your home.
That's
nice. They really help out. Yeah. Thanks to Debbie that gave me all that information.
Oh, good job, Deb.
What are the parameters for dial-a-ride?
They just need to be over the age of 55. They have to be a West Covina resident, and there's an application process. So they would need to come to the senior center, fill out the application. We take a copy of their ID.
How far do they go though?
They all in West Covina, and then they'll go 3 miles outside of West Covina for like a dental or doctor's appointment.
So what?
Oh, is it 5 now? Yeah, okay, 5, I guess.
Kaiser Baldwin Park then.
Yeah, they'll go to Kaiser Baldwin Park.
What's the difference between the application and calling yourself? Because I have called dial-a-ride several times, and you have to call like 5 days ahead of time.
Yeah, that's their system. So you would call a week in advance and you would schedule it.
That's a hard thing though, because sometimes you have an appointment with your doctor, and then he tells you, well, I want to see you in 3 days. Well, if you can't make an appointment with dial-a-ride.
You can use Uber.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest.
That's what I was gonna say. You could use Uber.
Yeah,
it's $6 and it's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
But you have to have a smartphone.
Yeah, no, I've used that too.
You have to sign up for the Uber?
Yeah,
I'm thinking about dial-a-ride
application as well. Just bring your ID.
All of it's on. You have to be 62 or, no, 65.
I think it's 65. But yeah, that's a great program too, and you can go instantly.
Yeah.
You just put it on. I know Sherry uses it. Yeah, you use it at.
I don't use it. I'm not old.
I know, but you're residents use it. But you always like raving about it.
I am, it's a fabulous program.
Yeah, every time I walk in, you're like, I love the Uber program.
The dial riders also have disabled.
And disabled riders as
Of
well.
any age.
So just come into the senior center, and we can go ahead and help you either with Uber or with Dial a Ride. So whatever program you would like to sign up for. Okay, there we go. And then just some other senior center information. We did host a children's holiday breakfast event for West Covina Unified elementary students. We did a breakfast with Santa, and we distributed gifts from the West Covina Fire Department. So it was a really nice event. It was our first year hosting it, so we're looking to expand upon it this year. We'll go more into depth. We have some photos later on in the presentation. Also, we have a lot of commissioners attended our open house, which was held on Friday, January.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you. We had a great turnout and a great time.
Yeah.
We had about 250 attendees. We also do tax preparation every year from February through April.
You know, one of my residents is a consultant.
I told Roxanne that yesterday. I was like, oh, I think I see him. He is great. He's so great.
So he's 92, I think.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah. He's as sharp as...
He is. So he was one of our tax preparers. So thank you to your resident. We take appointments starting in January, but we don't start the season until February. So if anybody needs a free tax appointment, a senior that you know, so refer them to the senior center, and we'll definitely help them out. It's through AARP, so it's all free. And then we did host a Bruins cheer practice in January for them, so we try to help out there when we can when it's cold. Okay. Our next community center is Cameron Community Center, so we'll go over some of the activities and programs that they had during those months. There's just a photo of staff at one of our youth basketball tournaments.
I saw this.
Yeah, they do a great job, a fantastic job with that program. This is Clarissa Romero. She is the coordinator that oversees Cameron Community Center and Vine Daycare, and that's a list of her staff there.
Is that the sports council?
No.
Oh, no.
This, the basketball program is a recreation, purely recreation program. So it's not, it's a program run by the city. We have volunteer coaches. It's competitive, but not at the same level as like an NGD or something like that.
Okay.
So these are their participation counts for December. For our karate class that we have there was 31 participants. Our dance class had 13. We have a volleyball academy that meets there as well. They had 46 participants. Our youth basketball program, like Roxanne was saying, we had 168 participants. And we recently started a cheer program back in the winter. So we had 13 participants, and it's been growing. So it's becoming popular. So. They had their fall youth basketball banquet on December the 16th. They had it in one of their gyms. It was really, really nice. This is where they get to, honor all the coaches, all the players. They had, great food and just like a sense of community. It's actually become one of our most popular programs there at Cameron. We see a lot of youth, like Roxanne said, it's like a recreational league, not so competitive, skill building, just to come together and, how to work as a team. It's a really great program. And then our West Covina Cheer did perform as well as at this banquet. And they performed during our youth basketball games.
And if I may, the West Covina Cheer program, same thing. It's more of like a recreational base, so it's not they're not going competing at the same levels as like the Bruins cheer.
Recreational, our traditional rec. And then these are their January numbers for their karate class: 37 participants, dance 13, volleyball academy 33. The youth basketball grew in January, 190, cheer 10 participants. We do have an adult basketball league. They had 96 participants, and then we also have another basketball league, Basso, and they had 112 participants. And then they also had, they started their winter adult basketball on January the 7th. And that league meets on Sundays, so they're there, so if you know anybody that wants to sign up. And they have a 10-week long session, so that's one of our more popular programs too. It's like a recreational adult basketball league.
Just a question on that league, so that's after the church is out?
Yes,
Okay.
that's after the church. And then in February.
Not popped in.
I know. I was like, is everybody okay? I think it's my water.
It's not me.
Your presentation's so good here.
I know, everybody's just like excited over here. I love it. I love it. That's what it's about, that energy. So for February, karate had 41, dance 15, volleyball 33, youth basketball 191, cheer 10, adult basketball league 96, and Bossa League 112. Same thing, so in spring they had their youth basketball practices, their new season opened up as well, so that's what they were working on during that time. Okay. So now to Shadow Oak Community Center, that's on the south side of town. These are the activities that they had for those months. This is a picture of the staff at one of their Let's Get Crafty events. That's been recently started within the last year. They do monthly like crafts and activities for children. So that one they did like a globe, like a snow globe. It was really cute. So that's what they have displayed there. They do painting. They did melted crayon art. So they do a whole bunch of different ones, and it's a pretty popular program as well. Leslie Bravo, she's a community services coordinator that oversees that facility along with her team. Our Tiny Tots program, so it's it's actually been growing. We've been having meeting our capacity. We do the program Monday through Thursday from 9 to 12. And they do such a fantastic job. If you ever get a chance to go see the Tiny Tots room, I would highly suggest doing it. Just what they transform that room. They do arts and crafts. They do plants, and they do a whole bunch of things. It's really, really nice. And the students learn a lot. They do their own curriculum with coloring, letters, numbers. The staff does a really fantastic job with that program. So I would definitely check it out. Yeah, so there's some photos. They were doing some art. They love arts and crafts as well. And this is some of the activities, like they did the melted crayon art here, the Tiny Tots here as well. They did some crafts here, and then these are our little ones too playing outside. So some of those activities. These are their numbers for December. We have piano at Shadow Oak, so if anybody is interested.
Do you?
Yes, they do.
I want a piano.
Yeah, yeah, you can sign up for class.
My neighborhood.
Okay, perfect. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Go visit them. Yeah, you can go see all the activities. Have a bunch of flyers. Yeah, definitely. You can sign up for piano. It goes from kids to adults. So perfect. Yeah. So piano. They had 3 people. We did have a stretch and tone class in the evening. They had 5 participants. We actually do have a few senior classes up there as well. So anybody that's on that side of town, they can go and participate in those classes. We have a cell phone class. There was 19 participants, and then they also do aerobics. They had 15 participants. So if you know anybody that wants to participate in senior programming, definitely have them check out Shadow Oak. Pickleball, it's just open pickleball. They also do it there as well, twice a week. So if anybody on that side of town wants to play pickleball, it's become popular as well. Let's Get Crafty, they did a Christmas ornament. They had 34 participants. In January for the Tiny Tots, they had 10. We did start a parent-a-me for the younger ones, so kids that are 2 and younger. And it's been really successful. So they can come in with a parent and enjoy activities as well, arts, crafts, coloring, letters, and numbers. So the first kind of introduction to those sorts of things. Piano, we had 2. Stretch and tone 11. We do also have a Spanish enrichment class for children. We had 6 participants. Healthy aging, 18 participants. Pickleball 20. They did melted crayon class. There were 17. For February, they had 13 participants in Tiny Tots. Parent-a-me 9. Piano 4. Stretch and tone 7. Spanish enrichment 5. And then we started another senior class, which is the basic computing. They had that class going, and then they had healthy aging again, 20, pickleball 20, and then they did a Valentine's Day mailbox, which was really cute, and there was 10 participants. So there's a lot of activities. We're looking to expand upon our programming at Shadow Oak to offer the residents on that side of town, traditional rec. We're starting this summer open rec where people could come in from 3 to 6. daily, Monday through Thursday, to, you know, just do different activities. We have like an air hockey table, foosball table, just, you know, craft setup and just different activities.
I'm gonna add, you know, staff has done a tremendous job with utilizing the resources they have responsibly to really activate that center. You may or may not be aware, you know, after the pandemic, that was the second to the last center to reopen. And so we're just very pleased with the progress that's been made. We've been able to partner with Mount San Antonio College to offer some of those free courses. And then just like Vanessa said, you know, starting new programming like the Open Rec so that, you know, the community has the opportunity to really make that a home for themselves and to just enjoy, you know, the games and the activities that we have to offer over at Shadow Oak. So there's more to come, but we're very happy with the progress that's being made.
Yeah, the staff is doing a tremendous job, and so
Yes.
they really are. And just, you know, the Let's Get Crafty, then bringing that in. And then also, I don't know if any of you attended, but they've been doing the storybook walks up there as well. There was one today. Councilman Contos was there. Yeah, so it's basically, we partner with, his name is Adam. He does these stories. They're printed on large A-frames. So today was Kindness is My Superpower. And it just tells a different story. And then people can just walk through the park. So get the family engaged, walking, health and fitness. And then we just have the A-frames throughout the park. They can read the story. And then they come inside the community center. We have games set up for them. They do a story time where they actually read the story, arts and crafts, and some snacks. So
that's nice.
Yeah, so it's from 3 to 6. They do it about once a month, and it's just everybody together, the family, and they can just enjoy a nice stroll in the park.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you definitely should check it out. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
And I want to
Very
second
nice.
what Roxanne said. You guys have done a great job with that site. When I started on the commission, I toured all the parks and I walked that center, and it was bad. It was out of shape because of COVID. It hadn't been used. It was a little dilapidated, and so staff's put a lot of work into the actual structure
They really have.
and the programming. So it's
Just
brought it
making it-
back to life, which is great to see.
Yeah, and the staff is really talented. You should go in there. They, you know, they do posters on the walls now. It's like really colorful. The music room that they made, like I said, the Tiny Tots room, amazing. Definitely check it out. It's they've done an amazing job with that site, and they're just looking to expand the programming even more. So I'm really proud of them. So more to come, definitely. The Palmview Center, so that's our adaptive rec center. So these are just kind of some of the updates that they've done there. There's a photo of one of their craft classes in the back, and then their mission statement there. So Mikael Quijada, he's a community services coordinator responsible for overseeing the Palmview Community Center along with his staff here. And then these are some of the photos from some of their events. So they did holiday events as well. They did like dancing, arts and crafts. This is such a special center. What Miguel has been able to do in the last year, you know, when me and Roxanne, you know, first met with him, like, you know, take this center and like make it your own, welcoming, inclusive. He's done all that, him and his team, and that's a true testament to them. They've offered so many programs. Recently, they just started a gardening club. They started a walking club. They started an arts and crafts club. You know, we partner with Mount Sac as well to offer inclusive programming. You know, like health and safety. They do dancing, just a whole different thing. They really love to dance, so you guys should definitely check it out. Like they just done a wonderful job. Their open house is coming up in June the 4th. It's on the calendar here. So you guys can come and see. They're going to be doing a pancake breakfast. So.
June 4th, you said?
Yeah, you'll be getting an invite probably the end of the week.
We did.
Or the beginning of the week.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
They
we
did.
did.
Yeah, they already set it up. Yeah,
Done.
yeah, done. Yeah, perfect. I'll leave it on.
That's why I put it on the agenda.
Yeah, perfect. Done. Ahead of the game.
I love it.
And some more photos too. They actually did a cooking class as well. We also do partner with Delhaven, and they offer a variety of classes: cooking, dancing, Rec 101, arts and crafts, a drum therapy class as well. So they do a lot with us as well. Yeah. So.
It is a mixture of both free classes and fee classes, but it is a nominal,
Very nominal.
a very nominal fee. We're
Yeah.
talking maybe $5, $10 at most.
And that's for like 6 to 8 weeks, so
Yes.
it's a very nominal fee. And they have good participation. And then these are some of the classes that are offered there at the center. So through Mount SAC, they offer social skills and safety skills, interacting with emergency personnel, health and fitness, lifelong learning for the special needs population, and cooking. So when we first started, we only offered 2 classes, and Miguel and his team have been able to expand it. We have 5 now. So, and they're looking to expand the programming even more. And then Delhaven, which charges the nominal fee, these are the classes they offer: Let's Get Crafty, Baking, Recreation 101, the Music Therapy Drum Circle, and Social Skills class. So there's a lot of good, programming going out there. So if you, have anybody with special needs that needs adaptive recreation, please send them over to Palmview. There's a lot of good things happening over there. And invite people to the open house coming up.
And the music therapy drum circle, is that just the staff, or is that?
That's through Delhaven.
Delhaven?
Yeah, so through their staff. And like I said, it's like a nominal fee for like 6 to 8 weeks, depending on their session. And there's about like 5 to 10 participants in those classes. So.
Is the drum therapy kind of like what I'm doing? Is that different?
They actually have drums. Like they
Real
bring,
drum. Okay.
yeah. Yeah. And so these are some of the participant numbers. So for the Mount SAC classes in December, they had 355, January 412, and February 444. If you go on any given morning, those classes are packed. We see a lot of people. Delhaven in December, 123. January 101, and February 83 participants. They did offer some special events. They did cooking decorating in the winter. They had 50 participants, and they did a winter formal, and they had 72. So super cute. And then, yeah, it was really cute. And then some upcoming events that we'll talk about. The next presentation that they were going to have is they had an Easter egg hunt and like an Earth Day. So we'll get that review for the spring. And then Vine Daycare, so what they were doing for December through February. This is the staff of some of the participants there. Also, you guys definitely should check out the daycare. The staff does all these hand drawings, like they're hand drawn, painted. They do, it's amazing. Definitely,
Oh, it is.
yeah. You guys should definitely check it out. They've done an amazing job with the daycare in there. It looks great. So Alex, Clarissa oversees Alex, but she is the main person on site. She's our daycare director, Alex Rosales, along with her staff. They oversee the daily operations of the Vine Daycare. So some things that were happening at Vine. In December, students at Vine held a Christmas celebration, made Christmas cards, played with kinetic sand, practiced math, and made Christmas ornaments. So they're learning and having fun. In January, students participated in an interactive math craft and enjoyed various other physical and social emotional activities. And then in February, they participated in sensory play while building kinetic sand, tested the speed of their cars on a racetrack, played the Wii, and used their tool sets. So they do, every day there's a different activity. We have morning care, which is from 6:30 to 8:30 before school starts, and then after school care starting at 2, from 2 to 6.
They also do homework?
Yeah, they do homework, activities. So they're learning and they're playing too. So they have a great time. They go outside and play too, play sports, walk, all that good stuff. And then these are some of the photos of our participants playing with Legos, doing arts and crafts, and playing outside. Oops, yeah. And then some more of the participants there as well. Okay, so this is the Sportsplex. Just an overview of what has been going on at the Sportsplex from December through. Oops, sorry. There you go. So this is the team there. We have rec leaders there, prepping the fields, overseeing the programming there as well. We have an adult league on Fridays and Sundays that's currently in season, and then during the week we do have practices Monday through Friday there in the evening. The fields are pretty much booked there on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, and then the weekends right now we have tournaments Saturday and Sunday, so being booked at the Sportsplex.
Are those full-time,
They're-
sportsplex?
They're part-time.
It's part-time
Oh,
staff at the
part-time
sports
staff.
club.
Part-time staff, yeah. So these are some of the teams that practice there on the regular. Yeah, so some of our teams are there. So we do, also the soccer pavilion is rented out during the week. So we have soccer practices, and then these are some of the teams that are there at the sportsplex on a regular basis.
The soccer complex, is that available to the West Covina Youth Soccer? Do they rent that out, or do they have an option to use it?
They can rent it out. So the sportsplex is predominantly a reservation facility.
So they would have to, okay.
So in December, half of the month was used for field maintenance starting on December the 15th. But prior to that, we had a total of 37 practices and 2 tournaments. In January, it was closed for field maintenance, and then that's when we opened the application process at the sportsplex at the beginning of January. Over 26 applications were received for field usage, which accounted for like 400 events from February to June. Events mean practices, rentals, tournaments, even special events that are happening at the sportsplex. So the sportsplex is very busy Monday through Sunday. Staff is there.
And then one more question, the staff that's there, they're doing the day-to-day, but is there one point person in charge of the sportsplex?
So right now, we're gonna be honest with you, it's myself and Vanessa. We work with the part-time staff that are up there. Accepting facility reservation applications is a part-time recreation leader, because we were in the recruitment for site coordinators, which are also part-time. And so, Vanessa and I tag team it and then work with the part-time staff. We're maximizing the hours that we can responsibly staff it. You saw the number of staff members who are there, part-time basis. It's part-time hours, 5 o'clock. As we continue to build and schedule more, there could be an option, or there could be an option to explore other opportunities. As we shared at the last city council meeting, there is an option to go out for an RFP for the maintenance and operations of the sportsplex as well. So we're doing, city staff is doing what they can in the interim as we work towards an RFP, seeing what's out there. So the narrative is a little bit different, I think, than what's being said. There is a lot of work going on there, but again, we're trying to be responsible with the staffing resources that we have.
Okay.
And honestly, the staff do a tremendous job. They're out there prepping the fields after each practice, is putting out bases, and also managing our adult leagues on Friday and Sunday. That is a lot of work. We have over 10 teams on both Friday and Sunday, meeting with managers, getting the umpires out there, scheduling the games, keeping the teams updated, plus on top of all the practices and tournaments that we have to do. It is a lot of work. So there is a lot of good things going on up there at the sportsplex, and it's a testament to the staff who are part-time.
And while this doesn't necessarily reflect this, I do want to point out that there were a lot of days that it rained.
It did.
That it rained at that facility,
Yeah.
and when it rains at that facility, depending on how heavy the fields get saturated, then that limits our ability to allow for groups to come in. And so that also affects the leagues that we have up there, the Sundays and the Fridays, also affects the reservations as well. So again, we're really thankful to the part-time staff as well as the maintenance staff that are, the maintenance staff do a tremendous job too during the day trying to get things ready. Again, it is an example of teamwork.
It is.
So I have a question. Where are we with getting a restaurant back in there? I know it was talked about, there were some proposals that went out to bid, and then we heard nothing.
So you actually went out to proposals 3 times. So this 3rd time, we have a viable vendor, and so we're as indicated at the last council meeting, we are in the final process of negotiating the vendor that, the potential vendor, I'll put it that way, that we're looking at has experiences with Sportsplex, with a Sportsplex, not this one, but they have a contract for the Huntington Beach Sportsplex. So they're used to, when there's a tournament, when there's this, you have when there's an event, you have something, you have the need for service, and when there isn't, you don't. They understand that. They also have contracts with Pasadena College, and a couple other community colleges as well, so they have a nice mixture of what they can do.
Who's gonna be responsible for the tenant improvement in that restaurant?
The tenant improvement, like I said, that is being negotiated. They have done a walkthrough. So they have done a walkthrough. They know what they're getting themselves into.
So they'll be responsible?
Correct.
Will it be both restaurants?
It will be both restaurants.
And then you said earlier the maintenance staff, are we still doing maintenance our own staff, or is that contracted out?
No, we're still doing maintenance with our own staff. Again, it really is teamwork between the maintenance department and the community services department. We're very grateful and thankful for the talented staff that we have, very much so.
And then also the senior softball meets up there on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well, so that's another aspect that they are meeting there. So.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And then those are just some of the upcoming events and activities that were happening up at the Sportsplex. So ESPN, the 4th of July fireworks show. We have the Friday and Sunday night leagues. We have weekly practices for baseball, softball, and soccer. We do have local and national baseball and softball weekend tournaments. The home of the San Gabriel Valley Senior Softball. Also, we have the tournament coming up for the San Gabriel Senior Softball on May the 30th. You guys should have got that invite out too. That's already been out. Yeah. Yeah, so that's coming up. So that's going to be, and also the Health and Wellness Expo is coming up in conjunction with the tournament, and then the annual State of the City. We do have a little bit of the softball, the divisions. We have a men's Friday upper division, a men's lower division, and a men's Sunday division. These three divisions account for 35 teams, which is tremendous, and it brought over $16,000 for the Sportsplex, just for those.
I think, Hector, are you playing?
I play at Cameron Park,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna start playing on Thursday.
See? There you go.
It's a little more advanced, but I've got to that level where I can play.
We talked about it at Northwood Zip.
Okay, Hector, we better see you on the field.
I'll be out there on the 30th.
Okay.
We're gonna see you.
We're gonna come see you on the
We're
field.
gonna see you.
We're gonna see you on the
I'm second
30th.
base, I'll be second base.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna see what you can do.
I'll be nervous.
Pressure.
And then
It's encouraging. We're gonna cheer you on.
We are gonna cheer you on.
I know him.
Yeah, I know. You know who he is.
He's gonna fangirl you.
Yeah. And then, like we were discussing, the senior softball team does meet up there every Tuesday and Thursday morning, and then they're preparing for their first tournament on May the 30th. So we'll see Hector there. And then this is Ben Aceto. He was the previous president for this senior softball, so we did a tiny mic interview.
Hi, my name is Ben Aceto. I'm president of the San Gabriel Valley Senior Softball Association, and we play here at Sportsplex. I've been playing softball with the city since 2010, starting at Cameron Park, and then we transferred over here and had started having some games over here as well. Altogether, the program with the city support has been excellent. I've noticed quite a few moments in our game history that players are really going to remember for a long time. Obviously, the hit with 2 outs and the scoring, the winning run, that's always a great blessing and a great act by some hitter, and a great defensive play. Sometimes when somebody makes a great play, someone will shout out the da-da-da, da-da-da, so we always have a great relationship with each other. We play a competitive game, but it's just for fun. We don't have standings, we don't keep stats, we just come out here every Thursday and play. Megan's been helping us on the rain outs because that's when we would play in the rain. However, the city and the care for the field would prevent us from playing that day. But altogether, it's been a great opportunity for players. We have about 65 players in our league, and primarily from West Covina. And it's a good outreach for seniors and activity, and we're really excited about the upcoming Health Expo that's going to happen on May 30th, where we have outreach to other cities to come and compete in a softball tournament, along with all the other Health Expo opportunities that are going to be here. There'll be some people evaluating people on a medical level, and it's a great outreach. We're happy to be a part of it, and of course, we hope West Covina, our team, wins.
So basically, everybody there see us win.
Softball team co-ed?
Not their team. They're men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He called me today, wants me to play on Thursday, so.
Oh.
All right.
So you got the personal call.
And one of the things, has anyone thought about having a senior women?
Or a co-ed, maybe?
No, women, like a man and a women.
What it comes down to is having enough players. We absolutely would welcome it.
Wouldn't
We
it be great if we could have something like that?
It would be fantastic. We just need the players.
Yeah. May put
Just
the
need the
announcement in the
players.
senior center
Yeah.
to recruit women. I'll play.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, one.
One player.
Do their senior status and nonprofit status help them in any way, or do they have to still pay the full fee?
It does help them.
Oh.
It does help them, absolutely does. And not only do they, they do assist with some field maintenance as appropriate, but they also, they've assisted us with various drives. So they did a book drive for us so that we could fill our little libraries at Cameron Park, as well as at Cortez. They did a sock drive for us for the senior center. They've done a few other things for us, just as a way of giving back to the community. So we have a good relationship with that nonprofit organization. And so we find ways that we can really maximize partnerships, but where it's mutually beneficial for both organizations, for the city as well as the organization.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, so these are citywide special events. So this is a photo from the Christmas parade, which is in partnership with the West Covina Kiwanis Club. It's always a great spot. So in the winter we had our Let It Snow event. We celebrated the beginning of winter with our annual Christmas tree lighting. Residents enjoyed various food and retail vendors, entertainment, free kiddie, train rides, games, snow play, and more. So these are some of the photos. It's one of our, I think, signature events too. Everybody always has fun sledding, the snow play. It's a really great event. So we have a lot of fun at that one. And then here's some photos. We have Vine Daycare that came out and, Vine School came out and performed. We had, it was Holland Crest, the band came out as well. We had carolers, so it was a really, really fun event. We did have the Centennial Toy giveaway as well. Through the collaboration by Councilwoman Letzi Lopez Viado and Brian Gutierrez, who is the Planning Commission Chair. The City of West Covina partnered with Humilde House of Charities, Film at West Covina, Envision Motors, SBS Spanish Broadcasting, Mattel Toys, Singer Realty Group, and the Rancho Humilde Music Group to provide toys to children during the largest toy giveaway event in the San Gabriel Valley. And it really was.
It was.
It really was. So there was thousands of toys given away to children. It was a really touching event. So there's some photos from there. And then our annual Children's Christmas Parade in Santa's Village. The City of West Covina, in collaboration with the Kiwanis Club of West Covina, hosted their annual Christmas Parade filled with local organizations, the farmers market, and businesses. The parade marched into Santa's Village, where residents participated in the Kiwanis Club toy giveaway, interacted with free petting zoo, bounce houses, food and retail vendors, photo opportunities with Santa, and much more. So it's an annual event. It's great. We have different performances from local schools, organization, art classes. So it's a great time for all the family. Photo of Santa.
For our major events, is there an opportunity to try, I know we've been doing it recently, more social media video, but is there an opportunity to make sure we capture video of like the larger events and make some sort of promotional video moving forward on, not for every event, but for the big ones?
We have, and we've definitely made strides in that direction. That is one of the priorities of the council, is really to help promote the city, promote our events, to tell, tell the story. So yeah, we have been, and you're right, we've been doing more of that. So the answer to your question is yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, staff has been doing a really great job with the reels. Here's some photos here of the event. And then this is the event we talked about earlier, the Children's Holiday Breakfast. The City of West Covina Cortez Park and Community Center hosted a children's holiday breakfast for children within the West Covina School District, Vine Daycare, and the Shadow Oak Tiny Tots program. Over 130 children and parents enjoyed a breakfast prepared by the Senior Center chefs, interacted with Santa, we have balloon figures by an elf, explored the fire trucks, the fire was there, and then participated in a toy giveaway, and we're looking to expand upon that this year as well. So we'll host it again. There's some photos there. And here's some photos of the toy giveaway. It was a really great event as well. We did host the Martin Luther King Jr. Day event in January. We held our annual MLK celebration at the West Covina Civic Center, so here, the courtyard. Residents gathered to honor SUVU, citizens, community organization, and local businesses, and Dr. Martin Luther King. So that's a partnership with the NAACP. So we partner with them annually to host this event. They had vendors, speakers, food. It was a very nice event. And then we did host the Senior Center open house, and we had over 250 community members attended. We showcased all our classes, our services, our programs. We danced, we had food. It was a really great time. So we look forward to it again next year. Some photos from there, and then just some photos from the event. So, oh, there's push it over here. your feature.
Food line.
Hey, that's the best line.
Michael was behind us somewhere.
That's the best line.
And it was delicious.
Something I want to, that Vanessa kind of hinted at, she said, we look forward to it next year. So last year, we started with Palm View. We've been doing open houses at all of our facilities, and so we're going to be doing those on an annual basis every year, doing an open house so the community can see, touch, feel, hear for themselves all of the activity that's going on. They can get more information and just stay updated. So the next one is Palm View, and that will be in June.
Okay. That's great.
And then our Student Government Day was held in partnership with the City of West Covina and the West Covina Kiwanis Club. Students within the West Covina School District visited City Hall for a day in the life of local government, and students met with the City Council, received a briefing on city government, and prepared in a mock City Council meeting. So they got a chance to sit down with all the department heads to, play an active role, what goes on in each department, and was given a budget, and I think they discussed it was to cut $2 million.
We're cutting money, yeah.
Yeah, and so they came up with a solution, and they had the mock city council trial, and they also attended city council, and they got a chance to sit with the council members and see how it is to feel to be on the dais and do presentations. So it was a really special event. I think the students really enjoyed that. So there's some photos there.
One question, I know I had brought it up before, but are we still looking at trying to bring back the youth council?
We are, and that is one of the missions of the deputy director as well. As you can see, community services does quite a bit, just like the other departments, and so we do need other hands, extra hands to carry things forward.
So these are some of the photos of the Student Government Day. So they had a great time. And that's it. Thank you.
Comprehensive, let me tell you, that was good.
Thank you.
That was
No, I really
good.
enjoyed doing these, and I think it's just really important to highlight all the great work that the staff is doing. All our community centers are open Monday through Sunday. Staff is here from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. It's really a labor of love for the community, and all the staff really enjoy what they do. I want to say it is a small but mighty team. We do a lot. Plus, they have to manage all the community centers, plus plan all the citywide special events. So it really, really is a labor of love. So the staff do incredible. Kudos to them, and also with our maintenance division, partnering with them, because we wouldn't be able to do anything without a team effort.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for that comprehensive presentation.
Thank you.
Many of us have participated in the event, so we know what a stellar job you all are doing for the community, including the police, the fire, and all of our community partners, as well as the city council and all of the management team. It's a gigantic undertaking, and
From
you
all the
guys just do
departments.
an amazing job. Yeah. So thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for Vanessa?
The Shadow Oak Center, are we looking at maybe using that as like a satellite facility for seniors, like how we have some components of senior activities? Right now it's called the Shadow Oak Community Center?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't anticipate a name change, but yes, we are trying to put a variety of programs at that facility. We recognize that is the facility at the south side of town, and really it's the only one at the south side of town. So we're trying to incorporate all age levels programming at that particular venue.
It's not done. We have one more.
Thank you. One more item on the agenda, or several I should say, is back to item number 6, the Discover Senior highlight page. With that, I would so strongly recommend that we include Mr. Lopez and Mr. Aceto.
Okay. That's what we were hoping to do. And that's part of the reason why we asked to do the presentation first.
Do we require a motion, or that's just a recommendation?
We can take
for discussion, or?
Who's in it first?
Mr. Lopez?
Both.
Oh.
Lopez and Aceto.
To highlight both of them.
Oh, okay.
That would be
One
nice.
Discover or
for-
two different.
It will be both in one Discover?
We can do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Everyone, all in favor?
Yes.
Is there a motion passes?
Very good, very cooperative group.
Thank you.
Thank you for cooperating with us.
Moving on with the agenda, any ad hoc reports from any of the commissioners present?
I did the Easter egg hunt, and it rained like crazy.
Oh, that's
But the kids attended in rain gear and umbrellas.
Hey,
It was we didn't think we were gonna get a much of a turnout, but like the last 30 minutes, they just sprinkled down on us. They were there.
You're not gonna miss that.
They didn't miss it. I mean, it was raining heavily, and we had to keep hitting the canopies because the water was collecting so much. One recommendation to the staff, it's a little morbid to have Rose Hills there.
Okay.
So if we can not do that.
Okay.
Any other ad hoc reports?
Jill was there also.
I was there. I also went to the Cherry Blossom, which was nice.
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
I watched the little girls dance and stuff. It was so cute. And I did have a question. So if I have pictures and stuff, should I send those to somebody?
Yeah, you can send them to Deb and I.
Yeah, I took tons of pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I went to I don't know why, but I love that historical society. So I went to the historical society last week, and they had two students that were in like the dance.
The debate students.
They played those instruments, and I was like, oh my gosh, they were professional level. They were amazing. And then Michael's granddaughter, she spoke, like she did a spoken word. She was amazing.
She just got the gold medal.
She was amazing.
She did.
I said, I'm
She
voting
did.
for her for president. That's
Oh my gosh.
Get you from him.
For sure.
Real well. Just real well. So that was fun. And I did have a question though, because I'm a newbie, so I'm trying to, dot my I's and cross my T's. So when I go to like these events, is there like a specific time I should go? Should I go be like, this is my thinking. So there's all of us, right? And if we all of us go, should we all go at one time or should we disperse different times?
So what,
I don't know if there's a protocol.
there is and there isn't, because we recognize that everybody's schedule is different. So when we do, typically your roundup, if you will, would be like during an opening ceremony, if an event has an opening ceremony or some side of the ceremony.
Okay.
That would be, when we introduce the council, and typically the mayor would introduce the council members as well as any appointed or other elected officials that may be present. So if it's an opening ceremony that's going to start towards the beginning of the event, sometimes we split the difference, just kind of depending on what the lineup is for that event. Now, some of the other events that you might attend that we do in partnership or that get on the calendar, like the Historical Society, there really isn't an opportunity for like a big formal, exactly.
But they do,
to that
the
degree.
Historical Society does a good job doing
Introducing, but there's not like a
Right.
roundup,
You
like an
just kind
opening
of go if
ceremony.
it looks interesting to you,
Yeah.
and you'll enjoy it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of missed the beginning of the cherry blossom, and I was like,
Oh.
was there supposed to? And I text Sherry, a messenger or something. I was like,
What's the protocol?
Yeah, what's the protocol?
It's kind of what I told you.
Yeah.
I also attended the Arbor Day celebration, and that was A+ fabulous. It was, you guys are collaborating with the different service clubs, and it's improving every single time. And the collaboration, you can see it, you can feel it. This year it was fantastic. Last year it was great. This year it was fantastic. The canopy, the setup, the staff work. And you weren't there and your staff made you shine.
The
So,
staff is incredible, and I give all credit to them because at the end of the day, it is their heart and souls
It
that
is.
are everything.
and it showed.
That was
And
beautiful. That was really
I'll tell you, somebody told me I could take the centerpiece. And then I was walking away with it. They go, "You can't have that." I go, "Oops." And they were that nice.
You tried.
See me, Sherry.
There was one question from the floor.
Oh, no, I was just gonna state, I can speak for Historical Society in Hearst Ranch, if you, find the host of that event, they typically will call out the commissioners prior.
Just let them know.
To that whole deal.
Yeah.
So at Historical Society, it's typically Miriam, and then Hearst Ranch, depending on what event it might be there. Yeah, they will acknowledge the commissioners and the city staff.
Thank you. Are there any other ad hoc committee reports or any commissioners' reports?
I have
Commissioner
one
George?
question. I don't know, it's not a report, but it's a question. So I've gone to the farmer's market several times. It seems like it's getting smaller and smaller every time I go. I mean, there weren't very a lot of people, and the next time I went, there were even less people. So I was wondering, is there any kind of committee to like enhance or invite or any kind of committee for that?
We don't have a committee. There is an agreement with the operator. It's the operator's responsibility to help promote and to advertise. The city does offer ad space in the Discover to put the farmer's market advertisement in the Discover. It's also posted, I believe, on the Auto Plaza reader board, because I've seen it there as well. But it's based on the operator.
Customer
But-
also,
but-
less customer.
But I have to say, I agree with you, they're not bringing it home. They're, you know, I can go to Monrovia, which I do, or I go to Claremont, and Claremont is A+ fabulous, so is Monrovia,
Once a college,
but
yes.
it's been the same, it's really stagnant, and I don't know what we can do about it.
It's been this way for quite a while.
For a long time.
This has not just happened. It's-
No, you're right,
Yeah.
she's not growing it.
No.
Give us opportunity to have those conversations, and to really dive into it. We have, you could see that there's been quite a lot of progress that's being made. It's now time for us to focus on that. So give us the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you know, the coffee people there are really good.
Oh my God, that's the best.
There was a fish guy there, but he quit coming because there's nobody there.
The tamales are to die for.
Even the man that
tamales
sells
good.
the incense has lessons. I mean, it's just.
Well,
Yeah.
he's at the very end, he's got his.
So I was, this is my thinking, I mean, I was having something to say, but, you know, maybe if somebody does want to come in and, you know, it's new or whatever, maybe, you know, for a month, give them, you know, 10% off, or what, do they pay for the space?
Yeah.
They don't pay?
They work through the operator. The city does not take,
City.
the city does not take a cut of that. So the operator, per the agreement, the operator can set those rates, and solicits, vendor involvement. And so the vendors work directly with the
It's
operator.
independent, yeah.
Yeah,
Does the
it is.
operator pay the city at all?
No,
It's all
So it's a
quality
free
service.
activity
correct.
for the vendor.
Price also.
The vendors, individual booths probably pay a fee.
They
They do pay a fee to the operator. Yeah, the city does not see that.
Would they ever have nonprofits come there? That'd be a great place for little nonprofits to come, and it'll fill some of the spaces, and you can see what's around.
Yeah,
Because it's pretty empty.
Oh, yeah, we can make those
Yeah,
recommendations to
because
the
I got a couple
operator.
people ask me, and I said, I don't really know, to be honest with you.
And I
I've
don't
never
think
seen
people
any
know it's
there.
back there, people
I
who
just
don't
keep
live
on going.
here,
Mhm.
don't know it's
Operator.
back there, you know?
It's not necessarily visible from the freeway.
It's not visible, but if it were viable,
Yeah.
it would get around by word of mouth. I don't think Claremont advertises anymore. They don't. And we were there on Mother's Day. There were so many people, and theirs is like 2.5 city blocks, long blocks, and it's vendor to vendor, shoulder to shoulder. They don't have food vendors, which is interesting, you know, hot food. And it's all produce and fresh farm stuff. And at the end, there's a few craft vendors at the very end, and
Bookseller, too.
and the library is there. Yeah, so it's a great turnout. It's a great way to spend your Sunday morning. So,
They used to be Saturday and Sunday at one point.
they do it Saturday
It
and
used to
Sunday.
be Saturday and Sunday.
In Claremont?
No, Claremont just does Sunday.
Yeah, I only know, I'm aware of Sunday, but.
And on that note,
Okay,
are there any other commission reports from anyone, ad hoc reports?
We'll be
Hearing,
meeting with the CDBG committee. I'm not sure who's on the
I
CDBG,
am.
but you are? Okay.
there is an upcoming, I believe it's,
For the presentations for the
Yes.
nonprofits.
so that's coming up.
And then just, I mentioned it earlier, but on June, on April 6th was the hike with the mayor. I didn't attend, but I think
I
you
did.
did. I think
It was a lot of
Mario
fun.
did as well. The hike with the mayor was on April 6th, so I was told it was a success.
Yes, it
We had
was.
a good group of people that went from Cortez to Cranberry to Cortez. Everything went smoothly. So, thanks for participating.
So those got free throughout the whole city.
Right.
That trail could be untapped.
thank you for attending. And last, it's not on here, but we found out June 5th, the library will be reopening. So maybe we should add it, just
Yeah, we can do that.
to have it on, I think it's, I want to say
1:30.
1:30?
It's finally reopening.
All the
The
commissioners.
library. Oh, yeah. Hallelujah.
Renovations closed for
5 years.
for renovation.
It better be dynamite. Some of you got to see it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
She said 5 years. For real, 5
No,
years?
no, I'm good.
I think it closed before the pandemic. Yeah. It's been a
Wow.
long time.
If there are no further announcements, I would like to bring our meeting close to a close. Make sure that when you have an opportunity that you look at the upcoming events that have been listed by city staff so diligently. You will receive several emails notifying you and inviting you to attend and/or to participate if you're able to.
Sure.
So we look forward to seeing everyone at any one of the upcoming events that are put on by our fabulous staff. I'm gonna steal your thunder there. So with that said, this meeting will be adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.